What's good, Relocation Football League? Oh, I got this up for no reason, I guess. Yeah, there we go. What's good, Relocation Football League fans? It's your boy Smitty, and I'm going solo dolo here tonight for the podcast. And I was like, hey man, it's only right, you know what I'm saying? We got to have a podcast because as you can see from the title and from the thumbnail, hey, we got awards for who's leading in each category for an award this year, and they just dropped this week in week 9. We've reached the midway point of the season, and so let's go ahead and get down to it. Of course, I'm trying to make this pretty quick, so I'm going to dive into just quickly recapping the week. I don't have any graphics or anything for that. For guys, wondering, what's been going on, the podcast is been off for like a couple of weeks, and just know that it's a lot of stuff in real life that's just getting hectic, man. So it's a lot harder for me to be able to have a consistent podcast. I got guys asking for highlights and stuff like that too. It's a matter of me having the time, man, because at the end of the day, the aviation school, that stuff, that comes first, man. So that's kind of what's been going on lately. But hey, I've got time here this week, and this is a big podcast to get it done, guys. So shout out to the guys who are here right now. See, we got 15 right now early on in with Hodge, Joshua Prince, Rodney, the Sheffield in the building. Hey, make sure to tag everybody in the Discord as well. Let everybody know, just so everybody know that we're live too at the moment. Just haven't had the time to really get to it. What's going on, CP? But yeah, so we're going to go ahead and look at the games that's happened this week. And I'm actually going to use the file since I don't have the graphics. So, the thing about that is no games have been played this week for premieres. So no spoilers. These are all real statistics that are in the file. So let's go ahead and get into that. I'm moving over now to try to get there. And I'm going to full screen this thing when I get to it. Just look at the schedule for this past week. All right, here we go. So just the full screen things. I just took myself off of the camera here, but first game this is not going to be in order in which they happened, but we're just going to go ahead and skim through this real fast, and then after this we're going to go ahead and get a look at what's to come. Of course, it's upcoming. We talk about some of the trades and stuff that has gone down within the few weeks that we haven't had a podcast. There's been a lot going on, man. So the Pioneers, man, how about them? The Nears getting it done on the road in Cincinnati. They beat down the Hogs 24-6. And Ronnie Shanahan, he looked really rough in this one, man. We'll go into some statistics, right? So as we look at this, you can see big statistics. Let's just look at really the gameplay of the key players, right? So great day for Javier Santana. But I want to know what's going on, man. He must got love for his fellow Washington brother, bro, because he always seems to get put out the game from an injury, or at least quote unquote he says it's an injury, and bro sits out for at least a couple drives, maybe a quarter, lets Diggs get in trying to build a resume. Diggs, by the way, I mean, he didn't do too much better in terms of percentage. I mean, his percentage was better than Javi's. I mean, 50% for Javi here. He didn't get any touchdowns, no interceptions, which was great, and 2 touchdowns. And Diggs wasn't able to throw one in, but I guess keeping him afloat, right? But this was the big story here, man. Ronnie Shanahan throwing 4 picks at the start of this game. He was under 40% throwing the pigskin. So you already know what that's going to grant you. Undertaker Bell. There it is. So Ronnie Shanahan, man, this is definitely his worst performance in the league so far. I mean, 18 out of 46 attempts is crazy. And it was just a rough one for him, man. Rookie's going to have moments like that. He definitely had his moments. I'm just letting you guys know right now. You already know when it's solo dolo time of these podcasts, it's roast time, man. So I'm going to be giving out a lot of bells here tonight. First one going to Ronnie football, man. Just didn't play football in that game. But looking at the run game, though, Dre Shivers, he's been balling, man. Despite the loss, look at this, a 5-yard per carry average, 109 yards. He didn't get in the end zone, but if you watch that game, this game, I mean, he was running. He was running with full authority, breaking tackles, everything. I don't know what's going on with AG3, man, and his hate towards old guys and Andre Tomlinson, but I'm going to let you know right now, even though he had 68 yards, hey, AT out here balling, right? 4.5 yard per carry average. He didn't see the end zone, but 68 yards off of 15 carries. Ronnie Shanahan's best part of his game was 64 yards off of scrambling. So, that's the best thing he could offer in the game in that. But we got Farrell Raines getting the end zone for a touchdown here. Also, TJ Reynolds Jr., just want to talk about this guy. I mean, this guy is a key player for this offense as well. I think he just adds that speed, right? We already know how great Farrell Raines is. He's all over the place. He's playing in that slot. He did his thing, got in the end zone too, like I said. But TJ just adds that extra element you got to worry about on defense. And really no other standout performances here in this area. Let's go ahead and get a look at the defense. Who's out here getting busy with the sacks? I'll tell you who got busy with an interception, though. Even though AG3 trying to get the old guys out of there. How about AG3 getting the pick six, man? Interception off of Ronnie for 36 yards to the house. The cribbo for the touchdown, man. I will say this. Although this game was a blowout statistically, and it was 24-6, I mean, at the end of the day, the defense in the second half did its thing. Because if we go back to the box score here, right? 0 points scored in the second half. So just a rough first half for the Hogs. But then think about this. The Pioneers got a pick six. So that's on the offense. So you take away 7 points from this 26. That means the Hogs really only gave up 17 points, right? So, I mean, for defense, that's actually pretty good. Unfortunately, the offense just did not come to play in terms of the pass game. Honestly, the run game was there, so, I mean, it's tough to say it, but, yeah, just a poor performance from Shanahan really cost him here in this one. But hopefully next week, he's able to bounce back. But there goes your bell of this game for Ronnie football, man. Hopefully, we'll see what he does next week. Now, how about this game? Like I said, we're not going in any particular order, but if you watch the Celtic Tigers versus Bulls game, this game was fire. 14 points scored in the fourth quarter to win by 1 point, as you can see here from the statistics, right? When we're looking at the players, hey, how about Devin Wade, man? This guy's balling. Y'all was calling me crazy talking about football, talking about Wade, say, oh, this guy sucks. Last couple years, he's been pretty good. This year, he's looking really good. 3 touchdowns, just the 1 interception. And he's barely thrown any interceptions this year. I think this is his first and only interception, man. He's only thrown 1 interception this whole year. And I think he's got like 16 touchdown passes. So this guy's definitely got to be up there in terms of MVP candidate. All right? It's crazy. Wade? What? MVP candidate? No. I think so, man. He's in there. And he's got his Bulls sitting at 6-1. No bull. As we got Justin Jones also. I mean, he only threw 1 touchdown pass. 61% in this one. So not his best game. We've seen him light it up through the air. 295 passing yards, almost hitting that 300-yard mark along with Wade. Trey Worsley's been coming alive as of lately, man. I mean, 74 yards on 15 carries. Almost a 5-yard per carry average. I wish we could go into individual player details. Right? Because I would show you how he's been performing the last couple of weeks, but he didn't hit the 100-yard mark. But, I mean, this is a great yard per carry average, and Wade getting active with the run game as well. David Jones, oh, I thought that was David Jones. Well, still, David Jones, yeah, struggling, man. 7 carries for just 21 yards. Has not been doing too great in that department. But the Ariantre Machiavelli, that man, 2 touchdowns, 132 yards. He was given the Celtic Tigers fits, and Matt Niani, man, still out here balling. Didn't see the end zone, but 99 yards off 4 catches. And Chandler back, tight end. This offensive unit is going to be a problem. I'll tell you that. I think CT is still a good team. They're sitting at 4-4 right now, right? But even though they're sitting at 4-4, this is just an old team. So once they start getting some more youth on this team, these guys are going to be a problem because we already know Justin Jones is going to be here long term. Matt Niani's about to be out the door, though. But I'll tell you what, another guy to look out for, Cam Rux, man. I know he didn't perform all too well statistically in this game. He only had 24 yards off 3 catches. But if you've watched him all season, this guy's been an absolute stud. And I don't know why they got his profile picture out here looking like he's got an island with a baldy on top, but he's actually got long hair and dreads. Yeah, he's been eating. Brock Melton seeing some action, getting a touchdown. Remember, this guy was a part of that undefeated Georgia team. Got a touchdown. Statistics ain't all that, but hey, he's eating. He's definitely the future, it seems. But Chandler Backspin beats there. A lot of good talent there. Let's see who got sacks in here. Michael Freer getting there for a few sacks. How about Louis Quintana, man? I'm just pulling out anybody that I see worth mentioning, man. Louis Quintana, defensive rookie from Miami at the defensive end position. He's been doing some good work. A sack and a half in that game. Looking at the interceptions thrown, Holmberg getting a pick. And honestly, they would have won this game. They would have won this game, man, if Holmberg had 2 interceptions. Because at the end of the game, Devin Wade threw a pick right at his chest. And bro dropped it. Got to play the bell. That could have been it right there. But shout out to Devin Wade on the game-winning drive on like 8 seconds left to win it. So, I mean, Wade's doing his thing, man. Tavares Golson got a pick too, by the way, for the Bulls. And I think that's worth mentioning. The main guys worth mentioning within this game. The Armadillos and the Sentinels, man. Continue to roll on. Bro's out here catching W's. And he's caught a W against his division. He's been struggling a little bit against Frankie. Right? He's looking for game number 2 this week. We're going to see what happens. But, man, it was a beatdown. Got to get you the bell tour. Because I'll tell you what. Roland came out here 24-3 first half. That's when you knew it was going to get ugly, man. When the Armadillos, I'll tell you why they're scary this year. The Armadillos are scary just due to the fact that, first of all, the offense is crazy, right? You got Jordy Johnson. I know a bunch of people probably playing, whoever plays him throughout this season, probably praying this guy gets injured. Because, I mean, the way he's cooking with this offense right now. And how about Chum Lee, man? 400-plus passing yards. Got 2 touchdowns in common Chumlee fashion. You know he's got to throw 1 pick out there. But, I mean, for the most part, he is playing exceptionally well for this offense. And the defense did a good job with DWJ, man. 2 interceptions on him. Had him less than 200 yards passing. Got to him twice for a sack. We look at the run game. I mean, they are without their starting running back, Damani Manuel. He's still out with injury. And Jay Morris, he could not fill the shoes this week in the game. The guy, Levi Dixon, continues to average less than 3 yards a carry, but he's still very effective. I mean, he got the end zone for a touchdown, 74 yards. But I tell you what, he's got to have some receiving yards, right? Because that's what he does. Look at that, 49 yards. So don't let his run game and his lack thereof affect your opinion on him even being good at the running back position. I'll tell you what, he's going to be nasty. I just see it. The guy is a beast. He breaks tackles. As that line starts to get better, I think this guy and his development is just going to get better. So look out for him for sure. And look at this. Jordy Johnson, 11 receptions for 171 yards and a touchdown. Jordy, you got to calm down, man. This guy is 5 yards away now from 1,000 yards receiving at the midway point, which he will get, right? He's going to have over 1,000 yards at the midway point. And how many was it? 8 games? So, yeah, pretty much there. So, this guy is on pace for 2K. No receiver has ever done that. The record is set by Keith Guyton from last season with over 1,800. So, he's got a chance to break the record at the pace he's going. And we'll see if that continues, but it doesn't look like anybody's showing any capability of slowing him down. And who remembers Chris Braun? 5 receptions, 80 yards, didn't get in the end zone. But you're starting to see those early college series guys getting an opportunity to play, right? And look at this. He's balling. CB, former LSU star receiver, getting it done. Louis Luciano, 99 overall tight end. He gets in the end zone for a touchdown too. Tavon Bryson's still out there kicking. He got a touchdown. And I think those are the main guys to look out for in terms of that. Also, to give a shout out to the Armadillos. Like I said, I'm just going to break down into each individual game, pointing out key players this week. Like I said, I just wanted to vibe with you guys tonight. But, yeah, Rob Schultz, their starting receiver, just 47 yards. 47 yards off 4 catches. So that's a big W for the Armadillos. And definitely a big L for the Sentinels, letting their top receiver get this. There's another bell. Hopefully, you guys bounce back to her next week. Let's look at on the defense. Who got the sacks? Wasn't many sacks in this game. J.J. Harris. Oh, yeah. Shout out to J.J. Harris. And shout out to Isaiah Ingram. Because this guy was just traded for from the Thunderbirds. This is arguably the best D in RFL history. Absolute stud. Had a tremendous stint with the Thunderbirds. It has the record for the most sacks in a single season still with 29 and a half. He's got another sack to add to that total. Doesn't lead the RFL in career sacks, but he's up there. And first game, he got a sack. We'll talk about his counterpart that he got traded for too, because he had a tremendous game. Both these guys did their thing. He also had 3 tackles for loss and 5 total tackles. So he was eating. Nothing really too much here. A couple half of sacks. Interceptions. 2 for David Leathers. Shout out to David Leathers, man. This guy's balling. We're going to go through potential players, offensive players of the week. Oh, not offensive players of the year. Yearly award winners, I'm saying, that are leading so far. David Leathers, first round draft pick out of Ohio State. 2 interceptions at the linebacker position, man. Key picks. And that last one was a game winner. All right. David Leathers, the real deal. 9 tackles to go along with it. You have any pass deflections? You ain't getting no pass deflection, but who needs pass deflections when you're just snagging them out of the air? You also had a defensive touchdown here from Trey Wilkins. So old vet out there still getting it done, as he had a pick 6, the other guy with the interception. So that's the only thing that really helped out the Sentinels here in this game, as outside of that, I mean, only 10 points on the board. So great game for Roland, man. Continues to roll on. Number 1 team, obviously, at this point in the RFL. And we'll get to the top 10 power rankings later on, right after this. So that was that. I don't think it's too much to go over here for the Barons, right? Definitely going to see some bells. Shout out to Dorian, man. Dorian, hey, you got your debut. You know, had your first game. Didn't get your first touchdown. You got over 200 yards. That's great, you know. But Brody got sacked 6 times. All right? He got hawked down. And I do agree that definitely not the best not the best team to go against on your debuts, the last year's champs, right? And they showed you exactly why. But another thing about Dorian, I mean, 71%, that's a good high percentage. But Timmy Merritt didn't come to play in that one, right? He didn't come to play at all. I mean, 86%, no turnovers. So he wasn't Timmy turnovers that night, right? He was Timmy touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, 374 passing yards, QBR 137.7. Killing him. All right? That wasn't it. Run game was killing him. Barons could not stop absolutely nothing. 21 carries for 122 yards for Matt Wheaton and a touchdown. But I'll tell you what, Kenny Steele at least got in the end zone for a touchdown, right? Just under 4 yards per carry, but did the best he could against a stellar defense. And Timmy Merritt actually had 4 touchdowns in that game. He took 1 chance to scramble, and it took him 3 yards to get in the end zone for a touchdown. That was actually a pretty nice scramble, too, remembering that play. So, yeah, he was balling. And the tight end, Reggie Streeter. It's crazy how you get 147 yards off 7 receptions as a tight end. You still somehow don't end up in the end zone, but this guy was averaging, you can see right here, 21 yards a catch. Crazy. $147. Jake Winkleman went crazy. He got 2 touchdowns. Winky Dink still out here balling. 4 catches for 97 yards. I mean, he's eating, man. Anthony Connell, 7 for 62. I mean, I'll tell you what, there's a lot of guys. I've been watching you guys' podcasts lately, right? Been watching what guys been saying, and I feel like guys are sleeping on the Bulldogs. Like, how are we doing this? How are we not talking about the Bulldogs? I understand they lost 3 games straight. They won 3 games straight before that, and then went on that 3-game losing streak, right? But I mean, they've bounced back right now, and they're just a scary team. I would not sleep on London whatsoever, to be honest with you. Also, seeing the end zone, old head Stanley Whitehead is still balling. I'm gonna just start calling him Stanley Oldhead. That's his name now. Get the white. He's not even white anyway. But 42 yards, a touchdown, Old head's killing it, man. Year 9 in the RFL, still finding ways to get open. And a W for the Bulldogs because Amari Manuel was held to just 15 yards and 1 catch. Once again, showing you how tough that defense is. All right? Right. And I'm going to start looking in the chat. He says Smitty just talking because we know sleeping. What is we know sleeping? I don't know. Maybe there's a typo or something. But yeah, I'm just going on, man. You know, I just want to give y'all some entertainment. There's some things to talk about. Going a little bit more in depth for these games because, you know, usually we just, you know, talking, like I said, by myself on this one. So I just really want to give credit where it's due for specific guys. You know what I'm saying? But Shane Masters, 3 TFLs. Let's not go through the TFLs. Look at the sacks. 2 sacks. 2 sacks for Shane Masters. 2 sacks for Sean Best Jr. All right. And Jake Brodine. These guys killing it. Interceptions. No interceptions. So, I mean, it was a clean game. But at the end of the day, Bulldogs just absolutely dominated. Absolutely dominated. And there was just from the gate. I mean, it was 14-0 in the first quarter. At least the Barons didn't get shut out. But moving on. This is a huge game right here. The Aviators were undefeated coming into this 6-0. And the Snowhawks, if you watched this game, you would have thought it was over for Portland. I mean, it was 21-7, and it was just looking bad. Just really looking bad. And somehow Portland managed to come back and get the job done in that second half. And honestly, you got to credit Joseph Gidley. Now, he might have been the reason why the game was close to begin with because he had these 2 interceptions, and trust me, those 2 picks were bad. They were ugly. But he had 3 touchdown passes, and that's really what drove them back in this game. Bro locked in. He locked in, had 370, got the touchdown. And I don't know what happened with oh boy, man, Jalen Brooks off of 1 game talking about, hey, yo, we need a new quarterback. Get Kyle Bain up out of there. I don't know about that, buddy. You know, this guy's been balling. At least he ain't throw no interception or anything. He did have a $154 though passes, so that was pretty bad. That was bad. But what else he do? 38 yards at least on the ground. So, I mean, close to 200 yards. Yeah, that's still bad. I'm giving another bell. It was a bad game. It was a bad game. Kenny, 2K. I think the problem also is they didn't run him enough. 15 carries, 77 yards. Got the end zone for a touchdown. And got a touchdown here from O'Brien. Receiving wise, I mean, Cars Curry, he definitely was the talk of this game, man. He made some clutch catches that really kept him in this game. There was 1 catch he made where, I'm not going to lie, Joseph Gidley pretty much threw him a hospital ball where he should have been decapitated on some Mortal Kombat stuff. But for some reason, dude just bounced off of the contact and spun off of a hit stick from a heavy hitting safety. So that was a clutch play that converted on a 3rd down. He had 12 catches, 122 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Both of those plays, all his catches really in that game were just clutch. Kenley Weeks, tight end, had 10 catches for 117 yards. He's filling in for their injured tight end, Keelan Litton, who's a 99 overall tight end. But with him being gone still a few weeks, got this nimble guy out of Texas who's going to be tough to keep in front of. I'll tell you what, this guy right here, too, look out for Amari Fort. Amari Fort, he's been balling a big help as to why the Aviators have had success. Picked him up out of free agency. He was a former Dreadnought. And, yeah, he is a great playmaker when it comes to getting open and moving the chains, getting first downs. 2K also was killing him through the air. I mean, 52 yards off 2 receptions. And I think most of those really came off of screens, which were just 2 catches anyway. But you can see how dominant this guy is. With the limited amount, he only touched the ball 17 times and well over 100 yards. So, I mean, just a monster. Shout out to Ryan LeCavalier. He got in the end zone for a touchdown coming back off an injury. I know Pecan didn't like it. But at the end of the day, I think he scored the game-leading touchdown too. So great job by Ryan. 4 catches, 47 yards. Got the end zone. Looking at sacks. Really just 1 sack each. Randall Sylvester getting a sack. Really nothing to go in there. Interceptions. How about Giovanni Diggs, man? Shout out to Giovanni Diggs. I know he's around from time to time. He didn't just get an interception at the linebacker position. He took it to the crib. 64 yards to the house. Touchdown. Look at that. Here, there goes a touchdown to show you. And so, honestly, let's look at this, right? If we look at, again, that's a defensive touchdown. I think we need to start also looking at the Snowhawks, right? I mean, I know they're sitting at 5-3. A couple of losses, you know, were tough, but they were division games. Division games are tough to win. You play an undefeated team, the last undefeated team left in the RFL. And honestly, if it wasn't for the bad start for Joseph Gidley, this game probably is a blowout by the Snowhawks, right? The offense was balling when Joseph Gidley locked in, and the defense only gave up 14 points. So they did their thing, man. Absolutely did their thing. And so we'll go ahead and exit out of that game. Shamrocks and Marshals. Tom Wilson still balling. 2 touchdowns. Almost 300 yards passing. I know Hodge is sick of this guy, man. The second time that Tyler Agamonte has had to come in. But Leo Moon still getting in. I mean, really couldn't get the offense all the way there either. So he continues to have his up and down moments. 71 yards passing, you see here. No interceptions at least, but didn't throw any touchdowns. But Tyler Agamonte, I mean, he came in, he threw an interception, which was tough. Only 137 yards passed for him coming in later. But he also threw the touchdown, man. And I felt like at that point when he threw that touchdown, he kind of sparked the offense because, I'm just keeping it funky with y'all, man. Leo Moon, they had some good plays and everything, but they just didn't seem, even at the time before he got injured, like they were really getting that offense going. So, I mean, like, it's just a struggle right now at the quarterback position this season, I feel, for the Marshals. But I do think that, once they get that, cleared up and figure out how to go forward, it's tough to come in as a coach, too, and win when you got morale already down, you know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, they're keeping games close. This is a very close game. Nothing to talk about here in the run game. This is ugly. Oh, my God. 1.6 yard per carry. Got in the end zone, though, but hey, take this bell, Saeed. That was rough. Ward he ain't do that either. Nothing at all. Leo Moon out here, the best average off of 2 scrambles. Same thing with Tyler Agamonte. So Agamonte actually had 2 touchdowns. Ran one in, passed one. Anything to talk about receiving wise? Shout out to Kai Sean. I see you in the chat. He said worst backup in the league. He was talking about Agamonte. But Kai Sean Williams, I think this might be his first game where he had 100 yards. He had 6 catches. Didn't see the end zone, but really good performance by him. Roland Woods. Roland still out here balling as a player. 2 touchdowns, 6 catches, 99. I mean, that's a great performance. Bunch is doing good here. Casa. I mean, you look at the DC out here making some plays through the air, right? Casa got in there for a touchdown. Nicholas Andrews, 77 all 10 catches. So he was being a frequent playmaker. Keegan Meyer Jr. I don't know if guys forgot about him. I know he hasn't been active in the communities, and really it doesn't matter at this point. I mean, the player is a stud. Doesn't even need to upgrade him. But 2 sacks. He's been having a great season. And how about another Ohio State rookie to point out is Javier Wheatley. Javier Wheatley, a sack and a half, and I think he's also close as a D tackle. He might even be close to getting that 4-point boost as well. So look out for him. I don't know how many sacks he's got this season, but I'm pretty sure he's close to 5. So that if he gets like 1 more or at least half a sack, this is a guy to look out for that could go up in overall very soon. You got Marquise Sowell, T.O. O'Neal getting a sack. Really impact plays, but nothing really to get into. Shout out to Michael King. Look at the 2 College Series 2 defensive backs. Key guys coming out of College Series 2, man. At Georgia, safety on that undefeated team with Michael King. And of course, the Miami legend, Lito Loso. Already got a legend too as a backup, still at Miami, killing it. Unfortunately, won't be able to see him play another year for Miami because guy has been in the year, been in college football since leather helmets. But at the end of the day, he's still strapping. Lito got an end zone interception, which came at a crucial time because honestly, the game could have been put away by Boston now. And Michael King, he got his second interception of the season. I think Lito, what you got, 3 interceptions right now? I think Lito's got 3 interceptions on the season. Shout out to Lito. Other thing, I mean, you're not going to look at deflections, fumbles, any touchdown, any defensive touchdown. Nope, we didn't get that, so we're going to go ahead and back up out of that. But big win for the Shamrocks. Shamrocks are 5-2 right now, guys. They're leading their division in the East. So, in the East. So look out for that. The game of the week, man. I know we got a lot to say. A lot of guys had a lot to say at the end of this game. But honestly, if it wasn't for such a bad start for Atlanta to start this game, they could have won this one with the way in which they came back, right? Because the Explorers were just looking absolutely phenomenal, dominating. Daryl Johnson comes back. Dude throwing touchdowns, scoring on every offensive possession. I mean, just look at this guy. Statistically, 276 yards passing, so pretty up there, day in terms of yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 88% though. Dude only missed 3 out of 27 passes. He was carving. If you watch that game, just making the right reads. LC3, again, I usually don't put games, bad situations when it comes to interceptions on LC3 directly on him because sometimes it's just hard for his receivers to get open, man. And you look at the receivers, man, they just struggle to get open. You're waiting on Devontae Sharkley to develop. You got London Lions at the end of his career. He just don't have the speed that he got anymore. Can't create the same separation. Juan Chaney's all right, but he's not really your starting guy. He's not really that number 1 guy. Not even really 2. He's just a beast out the slot, to be honest. And so, he really usually doesn't have options. But one thing I will say about this game is both of these interceptions came from just bad throws. Well, the first one was, if he had put it on him, probably more than likely would have been incomplete. But it is London Lions. You give him a catchable ball, he's probably going to catch it, right? Despite him being aged out just about. But both times, these interceptions came on an attempt to London Lions. One that was just out of his reach, went right through London Lions' hands as he tried to dive for it, but it still was kind of, in a sense, like too far out there. And it got picked off by, let's just go to the defensive side of the ball, got picked off by the new addition in the trade, Mario Culver, coming over from the Diablos. So, I mean, he made a huge impact in his first game as a Columbus Explorer. But just going back to the passing into things, yeah, he had another interception where Lions was wide open and the ball just sailed on him, and then it was picked off again. That was by Darius Young. So, I mean, you take away those turnovers. There was a turnover, a forced fumble on a kick return too that the Explorers were able to recover, and they kicked the field goal on that, and that hence why you see the 17 points in the first quarter. So it got real bad for the Thunderbirds. But I'll tell you what, a new offensive change has definitely changed up a lot for the Thunderbirds. Their offense is looking a lot more productive. That's all I can say. Atagwe was a beast, man. 4-yard per carry average, got in the end zone for a touchdown. But it's just like every time this guy touches the football, somebody's getting shook out of their shoes, ran through something. And this guy just does not go down. And if he does, he's falling forward. Dude's a beast. Marcus Knight is really doing a good job too. Mighty Mouse living up to the name. He's running through guys, putting moves on. He can just about do it all. It doesn't matter. He's 5'8", only 188 pounds. This guy runs hard. And he got in the end zone twice against a good defense. A full power defense too with DeMarco Lando back. So, I mean, that's saying a lot. I really didn't expect him to have too much success against that defense running the football. But again, didn't have too many carries to get more, but did great with his opportunities. Another guy to look out for, too, just to point out, Rashad Boston. He touched the ball, too. He's made some great plays. And Daryl Johnson really had 3 touchdowns. You can see right there. Almost left him out. I mean, only 9 yards on 4 scramble attempts. But DJ obviously showing you when he's in the game, he's the difference maker for this team. Receiving wise, man, again, Daryl Johnson was just carving his defense up with CJ Robinson. And the way Coach Nicholson has been moving Robinson around, working around in the slot on the outside, I mean, this guy is going to make the plays regardless anywhere. And I mean, the slot really killed the Thunderbirds for the most part. And the blocking was superb for him. CJ Robinson holding 11 for 162, man. Got in the end zone just once, but still was killing. I talked about Juan Chaney. He could have had the game winner, man. He could have had the game winner. He'd been able to break a tackle. But at the same time, the part that I know a lot of guys had an issue with, and me myself as well, because this is not just this game, it's just been multiple games that this has happened this year, is the runoff clock, man. How do you run off 20 seconds off of 20-yard play, right? And the prior plays had, I think, bigger gains, and they were taking 6 to 8 seconds. So I don't understand how Madden has it programmed to where they're taking that much time, especially at the end of the game, to run another play. Because the Thunderbirds, in my opinion, if they had a chance to run one more play the way they were moving, I think they would have scored. I'm gonna try to look at the chat a little bit because I see I got a message here. So it's amazing to me that Smitty does not need notes. Oh yeah, bro. I just know my stuff, man. I've been doing it for 9 years, man. It's been 9 years. I know all my players, bro. I've watched all these players grow up since college. I know their tendencies. I just know this stuff, man. It's just when you're dove into it like that, man, it just comes to you. And I don't even use notes during games. And I'll have like Neon Sports up just to know where guys came from college-wise that probably weren't in the college series. But for the most part, yeah, I've just been around it so much. I already know everything just about. But Chaney hauling in 10 catches, man. So he made a big impact, 129 yards. And Devontre Sharkley, I will say this though, it was pretty much quiet. If you take away 70 yards, which still isn't bad, you take away 70 yards off that one catch he had on Chamberlain. That's 2 catches for 34 yards, which is still great. I mean, that's 17 yards a catch, right? Sharkley almost got in the end zone. I'm gonna give you the bell for that, Shark. Why ain't you getting in the end zone, man? Huh? You're supposed to be 6'6" with burners. You got caught. Got caught by BKM. How you let him catch you, man? I know BKM is fast at the safety position, but how you get caught for what probably would have won you the game? Gotta give you another bell, man. I know it's crazy I'm giving this guy a bell for making a 70-yard play, but could have been 75, man. How you get hooked at the 5? But Joshua Jeffries was eating. He was eating. He was killing them off the spot routes. He really had the Thunderbirds in a they don't know what to do situation, honestly. Because when they went man and blitzed, this guy was cooking them on the outs, cooking them on the drags. When they went zone, bro just ran 5 yards up the field, turned his back to the quarterback, and the football by Daryl Johnson was right at his chest. Caught the football. There was like nobody around him in the 5 yards. I got to play the bell for the Thunderbirds for letting this guy run the stick route for at least 8 out of those 10 receptions. This guy all game was doing the same thing. And they said, yeah, man, he's not a problem. Let's go ahead and back up and cover everybody else. You not know who this is? You not know how fast and how much of a playmaker the receiving Joshua Jeffries is? Got to key in on that. I mean, 10 catches, 90 yards for a tight end. Balling. And shout out to London Lions, man. I know he's at the tail end of his career. And guys who've been around the RFL watching him, he's a dog. Right? He got the end zone for 2 key touchdowns for the Thunderbirds that really kept him in this game. Only 67 yards, but again, you just see those numbers just crashing down compared to what he did. I remember just a year or two ago, this guy was putting up 200-yard receiving games. Going to those days, but still making plays. So, I mean, shout out to London Lions, and I'm going to give London Lions a bell because his career is about to be in a casket soon. He's 85 overall. I think he's 34 years old. My goodness, man, that overall drop's going to be crazy. And best believe, I mean, great as a receiver as he is he's up for contract. Not signing that, buddy. I mean, love you, but gotta go. Time to go ahead and work on ESPN with Drake Correll or RSPN, whatever. And Caleb Houston, 4 catches, 52 yards. He's been great. He's been great. You know, he's going to definitely be the future after CJ Robinson is gone. It's a great playmaker. Him and CJ Robinson paired together. I mean, that was just, it was crazy. Let's go to the defense. Oh, yeah. Jake Wycheck. We talked about Isaiah Ingram. He was traded from the Thunderbirds to the Armadillos. And in exchange, the Thunderbirds got Jake Wycheck. In his first game, bro had 3 sacks. Not only did he have these 3 sacks, and he had to do 4 tackles for loss, he also won Defensive Player of the Week. So, I mean, he came in and fit right in. You could not say that Jake Wycheck, was going to slow this defense down, because we didn't even see anything from Max Knight. Does this guy even got any stats? Where's Max Knight at? I'm still going down. Where's Knight? Oh, there he is. Okay, he had a TFL and 5 straight assist tackles, man. No solos. Yeah, so they were doing a number on him. That's a great job. I think it was Heath Fedorowicz. I was out there on him blocking. Tyquil Nyquil Jones, he made some clutch plays. In terms of getting those sacks. He's really bullying up front. And Nathan Schmidt, he had the 1 sack, but this 1 sack that he got was very important because it was during that last drive where they were trying to come back and win the game. And LC3 tried to scramble, and he ran into him and got sacked. And that's what forced them to burn their last timeout to have none remaining. So Nathan Schmidt came up clutch right there. I mean, literally 1 sack, 1 TFL, and 1 tackle this entire game that was solo. That's all bro did. He was just sitting there. He's an an anchor for this defense. That was it. Did his job. Interception-wise, Darius Young, we talked about him getting a pick along with Mario Culver. Fumbles. Jeffrey Colvin forced a fumble. That was clutch. We talked about the fumble that was forced here by James Gordon, the rookie out of Alabama. But Jeffrey Colvin also came up with a big forced fumble that helped the Thunderbirds get back in the game. And there was no defensive touchdowns there. We're not going to go through any kicking snaps, of course. So we'll move on. And I see Chiz out here saying, yeah, I'm old. Chiz, make any plays? Hold up. Let's see what you did. Defense. Usually you got Jaron Gray's out there making plays. Okay, he had a TFL, 8 tackles, 4 for 4 like a Wendy's meal. I see you, boy. Productive day. Fortunately, a loss there, 29-35, but did you think? Okay, Gunners and Lumberjacks. All I gotta say is RIP to Jabri Jackson, man. RIP to Jabri. And it's been a great season for this guy. Look at this. 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He has 17 touchdown passes this year to just 2 picks. And he's gone. After this butt whooping Jordan Granger done gave him, they had to hang it up for Jabri Jackson at least for the rest of the season. He's on contract for 1 more year. But man, it sucks because Jabri Jackson, to be honest, could have been in contentions despite the loss to win a 3rd MVP. Jabri Jackson is absolutely not the reason the Gunners are as bad as they are right now. And, that stems back from a couple seasons ago. We already know the issue that happened there, man. This team could have been great for some years, but sold out for a 1st-round draft pick. Granted, the 1st-round draft pick was Tyler Cage, who's eaten, but wasn't worth what they lost, man. And defense ended up being trash. And obviously you see the rookie out here. I mean, not saying Jordan Granger is like average or nothing though. I mean, we knew he was going to be a baller, and he's showing us that. But he had his best career game coming in the league here in his rookie season. 4 touchdown passes. He also had a rushing touchdown. So he had 5 touchdowns in this game, threw 1 interception, but 372 yards. Absolute beast of a season he's having. John Copey's been filling in for the injured D'Amico Brewer, who's coming back this week. He got in the end zone for a touchdown. 30 carries. They fed him for 116 yards. Did his thing. Ronnie Nickens is washed up too, man. They really haven't had much of a run game at all. Ronnie Nickens, 2.4 yard per carry average. That's bad. Play the bell for that. That's not good. But he did get in the end zone for a touchdown. Jabri Jackson had 12 yards on the ground. No touchdown there. And Jordan Granger, as I said, 5th touchdown coming right there via the scramble. Receiving wise, DeAndre Kane continues to eat. All I'm going to say is public service announcement for Tyon Nickerson. Because now you're going to be the guy leading the show. You better get my guy these statistics. He's second in the RFL receiving right now. Definitely going to have a 1,000-yard year. Granted, no injuries. But 7 catches for 175 yards and 2 touchdowns. This guy continues to ball. And Tyon, I need you to get him the ball when you get in here, man. Absolute beast. You got some great weapons to throw to. That's all I'm going to say. Larry Cruz. I talked about this when Jordan Granger got drafted, right? I said that this is the perfect spot really for him to land. And it's because of the receivers. Are you looking at these statistics right here? Although their top receiver, John Johnson, I think he's like down here. Oh, where did he not have any stats? Oh, yeah. Yeah, 2 for 26. I mean, that's not good, but in terms of, you know, just overall statistics, but it really wasn't his fault when they threw him the ball. He was catching, you know, those 2 times. But, man, he was feeding Larry Cruz and his tight end, Zach Hobbs. Zach Hobbs, I mean, look at the weapons. He literally, Jordan Granger has weapons all over the place. He's got 3 beast receivers that can get open, and even when they're covered, they still can catch the ball in traffic. So it's like, how do you stop that, right? And they've got a tight end in Zach Hobbs, who's pretty much a receiver, big body guy, 6'5", 241 pounds. Almost impossible for any linebacker himself to cover. And also another tight end behind him who was eaten when he was injured. So he's got weapons for days to throw to. And on top of that, he's good. So I said this at the beginning of the year, and I know I kind of backed out a little bit at first. I was just like, man, you know, it looks like it might be bad for the Lumberjacks, but they proved me right, man. These guys, these weapons, man, this is a dangerous team. That's all I'm going to say. The dangerous team. They're leading the division right now. Granted, you know, they got that win over the Explorers without a Daryl Johnson. Next time they play each other, Daryl Johnson more than likely will be there, bar no injuries, right? Get the Son, the Father, the Holy Spirit prayer going on right now, and hope that no injury goes to DJ again, right? Because Explorers are looking very scary, as we talked about. But Hobbs, a $114 touchdown. Trey McClellan, this guy won him the game the week before. All you got to do is throw this ball up to him, right? This guy's profile picture look crazy, though. It looks like a human version of Humpty Dumpty with a pushback fade. I don't know what this is. My goodness. But 6 receptions for 72 yards, a touchdown. Eaton and Carlton Scruggs, you know, good game. 5 catches, 71 yards. Touchdown from Adrian Taylor. He got in, made 1 play. Like, this is their 4th option receiver, right? And he did his thing. He also came over from the Explorers. 1 catch, 16 yards. Got in there for a touchdown. Off of 1, I think it's 1 play. I thought they would have how many plays they had in a game there. They usually have that, but not in this section, I guess. Defense-wise, mind you, too, that the Lumberjacks are doing this without Tim Pennington. I'm going to give a bell to Tim Pennington, though. He just came back off of a long injury, played in his first game back, got injured. Good thing for Shark, he came back, but Tim Pennington didn't. He's still out for like 2 to 3 weeks. So if he could stay healthy, that makes the defense even more scary, right? Because the defense is really the weak part, you could say, for the Lumberjacks. But if you add that premier edge rusher, that's going to make a huge difference. But coming in this place, I mean, Julian Davis, he's been doing a great job. Julian Davis actually was really good for the Lumberjacks, who were the Lancers at the time, last year off the edge. So he's filling in nicely, man. And so it's almost as if it doesn't matter if he's there or not. You still got a young playmaker in Davis, 2.5 sacks, 5 TFLs too. Dude was eating. Tyler Cage, you know he's going to get those double digits in tackles. Got a sack as well. Guy was all over the place. Schilling got the sack. Let's see what we got in terms of interceptions. Marlon Roten getting an interception. Old guy. Look, Jordan Davis even forcing a fumble. Doing his thing along with Chase Schilling. And I don't think there was any defense. Yeah, no defensive touchdowns. And so That's it for that game. And the Lumberjacks 6-2. Desperados and Condors. Big game, right, for the Condors. The Desperados really needed this game too. They fall to 4-3. I think they won a game before on the bye week against the Bisons. It was a close game there. So I don't know if the Desperados with Marquise Washington is just showing they're starting to look human. But I'm gonna be honest, Marquise Washington had a good game, right? He had 3 touchdowns in this game. I think he had a rushing touchdown too. But yeah, he had 3 touchdowns in this game. No interceptions. Played clean. 58 yards passing. The completion percentage was buns though. I mean, 52%. You usually don't see that from Washington. You're usually better than that. But McCoy was balling, man. 329, 2 touchdowns as well with no interception. 74%. Chase McCoy in this offense doing his thing. But I tell you what, the key part of the Condors is to look out for this year is their running back combination. I know that Chris Clark didn't get too much here, just 5 yards off 3 carries, not a good average there. But they do a good job of using Cornell Mickens as their premier back, which he's showing, yeah, there's a reason why this guy gets a majority of the carries. And he just makes plays, man. He's just like Otagwe. He just always finds the creases to get through, makes the most out of every run, bouncing off of almost always the initial contact. Got in the end zone for a touchdown, 83 yards, 14 carries. I mean, just off of those minimum amount of plays given 5.9 yard per carry average. Absolutely doing his thing. Tavion Hall still in the 4 yard per carry average, but the Condors did a good job of making sure he didn't get in the end zone. And there goes that touchdown confirmation there from Marquise Washington for his 3rd at 28 yards on the ground. Receiving wise, Devin Dean was making some plays. Had a touchdown. CA3 was making plays for Washington. Had a touchdown as well. Antoine Colquitt. I was saying the majority of this game, too, that Antoine Colquitt is a guy who's kind of like Joshua Jeffries. I mean, Joshua Jeffries before Joshua Jeffries, right? This guy, you got to cover him. You got to cover him. He is going to be annoying for any defense to play. He just always seems to be open like he's Travis Kelce or something. And he's really good after the catch, too. Big body guy, seen him run through, break a lot of tackles after the catch. And he honestly sealed the game for the Condors because when they went down on that final drive to, kick that field goal to win the game, Antoine Colquitt was wide open. He was wide open on a broke down play. Good offensive line blocking too by San Jose. They got there that big play through the air, which was this 46-yard long reception he had. And that's really what got them in range to just seal that game off. And Henry Moss got in the end zone for a touchdown as well. Angel Roseman is a great veteran receiver too, man. He had 1 catch. Shout out to Ray Franklin, man, as Uncle Sam Reject YouTube guy. I mean, he created him way back in College Series 1. He was making plays too and everything. But he got mossed by Angel Roseman. I want you guys to go back and look at that catch in the early, beginning of the game. Man, that's the best catch in traffic I've seen, honestly, probably this season. He mossed Ray on that one. So I'm going to get a bell for Ray on that. Kevin Guyton got in the end zone for a touchdown. Look at the defense here. Sacks. Keno Thedford, man, 2 sacks. College Series guys still out here balling. Some guys climbing up. Clay with a sack. There's a lot of sacks in this game. Yeah, Aiden Freeman getting 1. Interceptions, of course, none of them threw any. And nothing there for the defense. All right. So, we got some more games to go into. But I definitely just want to dive into these. It's been a couple weeks, man. So I'm kind of, not only am I covering these games, I'm also trying to break down a little bit what's been going on with some of these individual players, just so you guys have some more information on like kind of how they've played and things like that going on. But the Tigers getting a big win over the Crusaders, right? They needed that win. They now have jumped over the Thunderbirds in the division and are not last in the NRC South. I've seen some guys again. I've been watching your podcast, guys. I heard you done. You was talking about Hey, man, why we getting Holden Wolf? I don't think Dunn necessarily was saying he wouldn't ball or anything, but he's talking about JTA should have played, you know, after he won the game last week. Well, Holden Wolf probably would have won the game last week. You know, JTA, again, one of the biggest decision as to why I went with Holden Wolf instead of JTA is this. JTA is not around, right? He hasn't been upgrading his player. He could have been the future. He's a 76 overall, and he's been here for 3 years, right? We already know what's coming in the future at this point. I mean, are we really going to stick with JTA with what's going on? No. And honestly, Wolf was supposed to play that game, but I just never got the time to create him from getting signed in free agency for him to be on the team during that game. So JTA got a freebie, man. Shout out to him. You know, he won the game, got player of the week as well. He played good in that game. He did. But we still need wins, right? That didn't happen, unfortunately, for the Crusaders. But by any means, you cannot say Holden Wolf did not ball. Bro had 428 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, coming out the graveyard from free agency. This guy showed exactly why signing him is going to have a huge benefit, you know, for the offense. And of course, he's got one more week to play. Ben Wakefield's coming back, and then he's going to have to take a back seat unless another injury happens. But Holden Wolf, man, 36 years old, still out here eating with an 84 arm and throw power. And I will say this, man, I know guys kind of have a knock on throw power, but I've noticed in this game, when you don't have that throw power like that, the arc is different. There was one pass that he threw that literally most guys, because their arm is so strong, will be more on the line and it gets deflected or intercepted. And it was a flag route to the tight end, Lewis Happ, and he threw the ball and it had just enough arc because of the throw power to get over the defender where he couldn't make a play, and he caught it and got in there for a touchdown. So I mean, that was just great. Kai Cash, man, shout out to Kai Cash. He balled, man, 70% throwing the rock, 2 touchdowns, no interception, 276. You know, when Kai locks in, man, it's dangerous. It's dangerous out there. You know, he's got some playmakers. Let's get to the running backs, though, because Bryce Madden, 5-yard per carry average. Didn't get in the end zone. Drake Sandstrom stole those from him. He had a worse yard per carry average. But I'll tell you one thing about Drake Sandstrom, man. This is the running back for the future for Tampa Bay. Definitely the running back for the future for Tampa Bay, in my opinion. He's already like a 79 overall, right? But he's just got a unique combination of speed. He's great at catching the ball. Like, he kind of gives me CMC vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is that impactful of a player. He couldn't be impactful in terms of the average here in the yards, but still found a way to get in the end zone for 2 times, right? Marlon Marshall's a dog too. Don't always look at the average here. He didn't have it, but he just got a recent upgrade. And one thing he was doing even before that upgrade, he is really good at breaking tackles. And he is a hard runner, downhill runner, breaking tackles, running guys over. He can hit you with a juke move. He's got everything in his arsenal. And I mean, guy really just plays just like how we saw him back in the college series at Clemson. So he got in the end zone too for a touchdown. And that run, even for that touchdown, that was fire. Guys squeezed right through, ran in, got the touchdown, man. You got to go back and watch that. Stanley Kifford, old head, still out here balling, making plays. And by the way, who in the world created him? Because, I mean, his experience 6 years? No, he should have been older than that. Anyway, 8 catches for 135 yards. He got a touchdown. Lewis Happ, I talked about. I mean, this guy's a beast. I think he won. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he won tight end of the year in the college series too, back in either CS3 or CS4, but he played in both of those seasons. He's a monster. He was a monster in college. He was a monster his rookie season. His second year, he's eaten 11 catches, 108 and a touchdown. Tough to guard. Tip Soto had 103 yards as well, 6 catches, touchdown. Yeah, the Crusaders got weapons, man. They got weapons, man. Great receivers out there. They got Colt. Alexander Colt, got Elijah Bentley out there too. Bentley is, of course, on the tail end of his career, but Tib Soto and Colt is going to be great 1-2 receiver punch. Carlos Luzon's been balling too for the Tigers, man. 7 catches, 80 yards. You can see the end zone, but made some great catches. Bentley there for 76 yards, Colt for 60. Touchdown here for Joey Lott. He got in there. That's for the Crusaders. This should be for the Tigers. Look at that. Sacks, 2.5 for Isaiah Mosley. He was definitely dialing up some pressure. Interceptions, no, nothing there. And no defensive touchdown. So we are done with that one. Voyagers and Huskies. Now, this was the weirdest game of the week. Not a single touchdown scored. It was all field goals, man. Some good offensive looking drives, and then boop, no touchdown. Nobody could cross the line. Monte Wyatt, over 200 yards passing, but no touchdowns. At least didn't throw any interceptions. Calvin Poole did throw an interception, though, and he was looking pretty rough for this game. But, the Voyagers defense has a tendency of doing that. And had him at 60%. So that's rough. Monte Wyatt made some great plays. You can see they're 75%. So that's a good job. Running wise, you can see right here, Monte Wyatt had the best average, 42 yards. He was really extending a lot of drives there for the Voyagers. Walton came in and didn't even get 3 yards of carry. Leonidas, 2.7. I mean, it's just bad, right? Jakari Torres, who we traded for, came in, scored. It's a good job there. Receiving wise, again, this is not really anything to jump into. Leading receiver here, Jackson Hunter, he was making a bulk of the plays. 8 for 76. Maxwell leading the Huskies there, and I think Keith Guyton only had he only had 15 yards on 2 catches. So that's a big dub for Houston. Big reason why they won this game. Defense wise, I mean, this is where all the action was, right? William Stephen getting 3 sacks, big guy there, and Tyrone Boss, 1.5 sacks, still eating. Looking at interceptions, Kenny Forster was able to get that one. And then we had a safety, which was by William Stephen, where he got the sack. No defensive touchdowns in this game. And, the weird score of 12-5. That's what that was. So we're down to our final 4 games to really dive into. Bisons and the Miners. Miles McCain, I mean, he came off a really rough game where he threw 4 interceptions. But he threw a touchdown and no interceptions in this one. He had some moments, but I mean, 80%. You gotta love that coming out your quarterback for 230. Torres, he got a touchdown, 72%. So I mean, he did the best he could. But again, this offense just cannot get going. They did bench Kadron Luss. Kadron Luss, man, just has not been getting it done on the ground. I know he's an 89 overall running back. He used to be an absolute monster, but pretty much half the season he gave him to try to see, can he get back into form? And, just has not been the same. So we gave an opportunity to Tristan Price. And you can see not the greatest performance, but it just looked a lot more explosive. I know again, the yards aren't the best here. Kazim Cash at least got 1 carry. He's trying to find a way to get him a little bit more split. But we'll see if that what I got in mind works out next week. But the run game was just shut down. The Miners got a really good defense, right? They got a really good defense. Steve Washington's running really well, 4.7 yards a carry, and so was Denard Locker. This 1-2 punch has been really good to watch. Really good to watch. Receiving wise, Ajon Grant, the rookie out of USC, had 7 for 119. Didn't see the end zone, but this rookie from Ohio State did, and Kentaro Sheffield for 92 yards and that touchdown. Fry, handling business, 66 yards off 9 receptions. He was a constant threat and issue for the defense. And as we get a look at the defense here, sacks-wise, just 1 sack, really nothing to go over there. Nobody getting more than 1. No interceptions thrown, which is good. Nothing really too much to go over here. The Miners getting it done. Much needed win. As they improve to 3-5 on the season. Bisons falling to 1-7. Final score was 23-13. All right, we're down to the final 3 game. How about the Steamers, right? Got their new acquisition in Chris Pope. And Chris Pope, he did his thing there. We saw him in on a couple plays, but the offense was back for the Steamers, right? Steamers were cooking with grease. 3 touchdown passes, no interceptions for Reed Wagner. That is huge. He's been playing very back in the day-ish. Because if anybody remembers Reed Wagner's in his early days, bro was throwing man, crucial interceptions that cost games, and kind of did that in a couple of their losses this season. But he was in full effect. No picks, those 3 touchdowns, looking like his self last year. 70%, 300 over 300 yards passing. Schrader had over 300 yards passing, but he could not get in the end zone because the defense for the Steamers were back in the form as well. And about Amir Williams, they finally get this kid the football. And Amir, I found a way to get them to get you to run, man. I found the right playbook that's going to utilize you. And you can see it made an immediate impact. It's getting the pass game open too. You guys are in the perfect book. That's all I'm going to say. But 23 carries, 112 yards. Didn't see the end zone, but he was running hard, man. Mir could squeeze through any of the smallest gaps that the line gives him, and he's very fast and explosive. And you just saw that all throughout the game. Cleon Markerman got in the end zone for a touchdown along with Donovan Rhodes. There's some 1-2 punch with those guys. Markerman, of course, had more success with his average, but, you know, Donovan more of the hard-nosed runner guy. Receiving-wise, Dexter Roy. This guy, bro, is this a record? I got to check. 18 receptions? Man. I didn't even know that. 18 receptions for $165. Didn't see the end. How you get 18 catches and no touch? But that's crazy. He could not cover. I mean, this is what Dexter Roy does. He's like one of the best tight ends. He is definitely going down as one of the best tight ends in RFL history. He's just pretty much unguardable, right? You can't man him. You can't zone him. Kind of same deal we talk about with a few other tight ends. But this old head just keeps finding ways to get open. Can't cover him. Almost had 20 receptions. Romeo Jackson, it's good to see him in the 100 category. He hasn't really been breaking that too often, but I think, again, the shift in the playbook, I think's got him where he's going to get targeted a lot more as he should. Didn't see the end zone, but the rookie out of Auburn, TJ Holcomb, 2 catches, and both of the catches went for touchdowns, man, and they were both bombs. So 94 yards off those 2 catches. TJ Holcomb, he is in now due to the fact that Jake Pride got injured. And he's out for the season too. So, I mean, that was a really tough loss. But it's good to see that we're going to see some development and play from this rookie who's going to, you know, be a key piece, I'm sure, in the future moving forward. Lance Santa got 81 yards there. Eric Reese got to see the end zone. I think that was the last touchdown that the Steamers got to score. 43 yards. And then we get a look at the defense. 18 tackles for Kenny Summer, man. This guy's balling. Sacks. Nasan Richardson had 2 sacks and 5 TFLs. This is looking like the defensive player of the year we saw from a year ago, right? This guy is just a beast. At 95 overall, I think he just got an upgrade too headed into that game, and he's definitely going to be a 99 overall tight end within the next couple of years. But definitely the best tight end defensive tackle in the game. Best defensive tackle in the game. Showed you why in that game. No other key players to really talk about and to dive into here. Who remembers Darius Donald? Got half a sack. Rookie out of Oklahoma. No interceptions thrown, so great job by the quarterbacks. He had a forced fumble from Rodney. Shout out to Rodney, man. I mean, the number is hideous. I still can't believe you're wearing number 40. But at the end of the day, he's balling, man. They made a shift. They had Chris Polk playing at the strong safety position from his time over at the Cougars. Came over here, and Rodney was playing that strong safety position. But due to that that experience and just the difference in terms of being able to play in the box, Chris Polk went back to playing strong, because I believe he was that in college. And he's a heavy hitter. Rodney's a heavy hitter, and he forced his fold. He got to play free for the first time. Did get cooked. I wouldn't say cooked necessarily, but he gave up a big play. It was a shot down the field. At least made the tackle. Didn't give up the touchdown, but he was slow getting over there. Didn't help his mans out. But great performance from Rodney. Got that forced fumble. Got the 5 total tackles, 2 solo. I see you. But yeah, that's it for that right there. And then we get to our last 2 games. The second to last, the Dreadnots versus Red Dragons. 30-17 was the final score there. I forgot to talk about the final score of the Steamers and the Monarchs. So 31-17. So just to reiterate that, I'm pretty sure you guys already seen that anyway. Owen Jack got to throw 1 touchdown for 256, no interceptions. And also the touchdown and no interceptions was Anthony Savoy for 288. So that's how that went. 74% though for Owen Jack. Running the football, Cam Perkins, I mean, still not a lot of carries for him. He got 10, but he had 63 yards, a 6.3 yard per carry average, and a touchdown. So did his thing. DJ Scott, again, this Dreadnots defense, they have been extremely good, and they've been adding, of course, onto that group. You saw them making some moves in in the trades before the deadline. I mean, this is the last week for trades to go down, so expect to probably see a few more trades go. I don't think it'll be a lot, but yeah. Owen Jack also ran in a touchdown, so 2 total touchdowns for him. He had 45 yards of 5 scramble attempts, and Anthony Savoy also ran in for a touchdown. So he was kind of going tit for tat with Owen Jack in that category, but we just really couldn't get in the end zone for the touchdowns. Obey Kid, he didn't get in the end zone, but buck 16, this guy's a monster. I ain't gonna lie, I'm just put it out there. I did try to make a trade for this guy, and Coach Davis was like, he ain't going nowhere. And that was the right decision, man, because I mean, ain't no way. And DJ Burrow, man, he had 3 touchdowns in his debut game as a Dreadnought. Didn't get any this week, but 6 for 91 as their leading receiver. I'm sure Frankie would take that. Michael Simmons, the rookie from Baylor, had a touchdown as well with 75 yards, and that was off a deep bomb on the left side of the field. So good performance there. Nothing really else to talk about, but Sean McClure, the old vet tight end, getting in the end zone for a touchdown. Defensive wise, let's look at these sacks. Bobby Boucher had 3 sacks. 3 sacks, 2.5 for Stanley McQueeston. Nolan Angelo had 2. And a couple of other guys you can see there. A lot of sacks in this game. No interceptions again. A forced fumble from Bobby Boucher. So Bobby Boucher was eaten. Stop hating on my man TK Helmet. And yeah, that's it for that game. And we're finally to the last game, man. This whole segment took about an hour plus, but just wanted to go ahead and really deep dive again into these games and these players. The Cougars, again, a very close game, man. Just falling short. They really had it, man. It was, yeah, it was 17, if I'm not mistaken, 17-18. And the game-winning field goal, of course, in the 4th for the Diablos. But the Cougars, man, they played really well, and again, they just can't seem to catch a break, man. They can't seem to catch a break. They had a great team in the Diablos on the ropes and just could not finish. I think that's the big deal with them this season. And, you know, you have teams like that, right? A team that can really put up a good fight, but just cannot put it together at the end. And that's just really what's going on. McCall didn't have any turnovers. He threw a touchdown. Yeah, and I guess I could get in a little bit, you know, talking about, you know, McCall, you know, his whole trade request situation. I will put this out there, though, man, for McCall. I just really feel like it probably was not the best decision right there, man. I've seen guys talking about it. But yeah, you know, especially how things have been going this season. Not saying there's no landing spots potentially for him, but you know, definitely put yourself in a tough position to possibly, you know, get an opportunity to be a franchise guy, you know. And so we'll see what happens. What's the hold for him? But you know, 271, a touchdown, one of his better performances for the Cougars so far this season. Lane Kearney, 2 touchdowns, got an interception. The Cougars defense, they continue to play really good ball, man. Again, they just can't tie it together. The offense is still right there, but just cannot click. Nothing really to talk about the run game. Nobody really popped off. We got to get the bell for Darnell Hodge, though. I mean, this guy still, we're going to week 9, and Hodge, your boy, ain't get 1 rushing touchdown yet. So, yeah, maybe we need you to grind it out when y'all get to that goal line more. But at the end of the day, yeah, it was a good, close game. We've seen Glenn Sharp, 5 receptions, 97 yards. He got in the end zone for a touchdown. Shout out to Sharpie, man. Seen you in the chat earlier. Matt Smith getting some play time. Had 2 catches for 87 yards and a touchdown. Guy balled with his opportunities. And 59 yards through the air for Madison Axel as the running back. Not really too much to go off of for the rest there. Let's look at some sacks here. 2 sacks for Dre Dawkins, Marvin Wolfhog. Yeah, they were definitely punching on McCall pretty bad. And that's 6 total sacks between 3 players right there. That's 8 with the defensive tackle involved, all Brown. So 8 sacks on McCall. Just half a sacks here for Chicago. Brady Knight did get an interception. That was big. Got deflections there by Keani Jones, 4 of them. Great job by him. No safeties, no touchdowns. And no, it was a long segment, guys. Just wanted to go through the games. I will try to find a way. I got to think of a way to actually get this stuff, done faster. But, I'll figure it out. That's all I'm saying. I'll figure it out. Probably shouldn't dive into games as much as, I've done like that. But this probably might be the last time. But, it's tough for me to say that and then not do it again. But we'll figure it out. I'll figure it out, guys. That's all I'm saying. So we're back. It finally got me here on the screen. I know it's probably tough to see, the guy talking and no face on the screen. But, yeah, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and get a look at the top 10 power rankings, though, right? And as we get a look at the top 10 power rankings, this is how they go. Finally at number 1, Roland's been waiting for this. The Armadillos jumped 2 spots. They were ranked 3rd last week. They're the number 1 team in the RFL now with a 7-1 record. Got the most wins out of any team right now in the ARC South. So they jumped 2 spots. Lumberjacks, their win. They remain at number 2. Aviators fall 2 spots after their first loss at number 3. The Bulls jump up 1. Dreadnots jump up 1. Hogs, after 2 back-to-back losses, will fall 2 spots. The Shamrocks, man, they're doing really well. 5-2, they jump up a spot. The Black Knights fall down coming off of their bye week. And then 2 teams who weren't ranked jump in the top 10, from the NRC West in the Snowhawks and Condors, right? The Snowhawk, man, I say this a lot. This division is just something to look at, man. Let's just go to, I'll post this up later, but just want to have that up just for you guys to be able to see. Let me see. Trying to go to the standings here. Yeah, so let's just get a look at the standings. What's going on in the RFL right now, right? Starting from the ARC. So turn back on this just to get a full screen look for you guys. So here's the ARC North, right? I kind of want to give my opinions kind of going into the division. Let's do that. It's going to be interesting to to discuss. The Hogs are, after 2 straight losses, they were really kind of run away with this division, but 2 straight losses, they're on a 2-game losing streak. They're 6-2. And now you got the Pioneers within a game, within a few games, and they're actually starting to heat up. And they're 4-4. Huskies are 3-5. Cougars, of course, they don't have a shot at the division, that 0-8 start. But these guys play each other this week. So whoever wins, well, even if the Huskies win, Pioneers are still going to be second. But to tie up the wins, that's going to be huge for the Huskies. So this is a game that the Huskies absolutely need, right? And we talked about the losing streak of the Hogs, but 3-game losing streak for the Huskies. Pioneers are coming off of winning 2 straight and, looking really good. So the Huskies, they beat them before, and they beat them actually pretty bad. I think it was like 38-7. Got to get the win this week. Absolutely got to get the win this week. Going into the ARC South, this is definitely one of the most competitive divisions, and this division is full of all user coaches. You got Coach Roland with the Armadillos, got Coach Frankie with the Dreadnots, Coach Tor with the Sentinels, and Coach Baker with the Voyagers. And just look at how these records are just like stacked amongst each other. 7-1 for Roland and the Dillos, 6-2 for Dreadnots and Frankie, 4-3 both the Sentinels and the Voyagers, with Tor and Banker. I said Baker. But it's crazy too, because I mean the Voyagers had such a rough start. I think guys are already thinking, oh man, these guys are over with, right? It's done with. I don't think they're gonna be able to compete in the division, because we saw the Sentinels, the Dillos, and the Dreadnots just get off to fast starts and, winning most of their games. So you're like, oh man, they're not going to be able to compete in the West. Guess again. Because now they're tied for the Sentinels and the for the third, honestly. And then if we're looking at these two games right here, I mean, I know it's 2 and 3 games apart from the Dreadnots and Armadillos, but it's still, a loss off from the Dreadnots, 2 for the Armadillos if they could get, when they get their opportunity to play them. So, yeah, this division is still up in the air. I'm starting to see the Sentinels kind of start to lose a little bit of grip. They 2-game losing streak you see right here. Look, it's been 5 straight for the Dillos, 3 for the Dreads, and 2 on the come up to get them past 500 for the Voyagers. How I'm feeling right now, man, definitely the Armadillos division. I wouldn't say I can't even really say. I would say it's their division to lose, but the Dreadnots are hot on their tail, and these 2 guys play this week. So this is going to be the division to look out for, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Great division full of coaches. And this is another division that is stacked, man. The ARC East. The Bulls have become a part of it, moving from the North. And, well, man, only 1 loss. Devin Wade got them boys cooking. 6-1. You got the Black Knights. They just came off of bye week, but they did have a loss before the bye week in a really close game. But 5-2 for them. The Bulldogs just came off a massive win on the Barons, and they got a 2-game winning streak going after their 3-game losing streak. But I really feel like this team has kicked it into gear. So they're 5-3, and the Celtic Tigers, despite just coming off a loss, I mean, they were doing pretty good. They were 4-3 going in last week, and now leveled out at 4-4. This division is still, again, this is the division that is up for grabs for anybody, and all teams in it. They're playing fairly well. Looking at the West, Aviators, they're dominating it, but they looked human this past week. Again, the offense only accounted for 2 touchdowns. Kingston Kinney was still pretty much unstoppable. I think that's what they need to do. They need to make sure that he's getting the ball early and often. But 6-1, they still have a 3-game lead over the next closest teams in the minors with Coach Dunn, and Red Dragons with Coach Davis. Sitting at 3-5. So, I mean, this is a good cushion for the Aviators, right? I do feel like this is their division, man. They're still a really good team this year. Got one of the best defense. That shocked me. I think they're like number 2 defense in the league, number 3, something like that. It's crazy. Didn't expect that. And then the Bisons, man, sitting at 1-7, man. They're definitely out of it. I don't see them getting it done. Only won their 1 game against a winless team, which was the Chicago Cougars. So, I mean, they've been making some games close as of late, but, I mean, not doing too great. Then we get into the NRC. 3 games up for the Lumberjacks, right? But you got to worry about the Explorers. They're 3-4. 3-4. They were 1-4 at one point, and, kind of feared they might go 1-5, but Everett Bradley managed to pull out 1 win out of the ones he played, right? And that win, I think, was crucial. Helped them out with momentum and time for Daryl Johnson and DeMarco Landau to get healed. And they came in, made a statement against the Thunderbirds at home this past week. And so 3-4, that is a manageable record for the Explorers to, be able to still be a playoff team. Fun fact, the Explorers are the only team right now in RFL history that has never missed a playoff. So the Explorers not only playing to try to get in the playoffs just to be a playoff team, but playing to keep the streak going, right? And if they can make the playoffs again, that will be 8 consecutive seasons where nobody has done that. So the Explorers, look out for these guys. They got to play the Lumberjacks again. You got the Barons. I mean, the rest of these teams really are out of it. They got 6 losses. Barons 2-6, Gunners 1-6, and they're going to be starting Tyon Nickerson. So not expecting the rookie to come in and really, win those games. And if we're looking at division wins between these teams, how about the Lumberjacks and Jordan Granger? 4-0 in the North, right? And they still have to play the Explorers again, and they have to play the Gunners again, and that's with Tyon. So I think really the Lumberjacks have got this division. They should this is their division their division to lose for sure. Definitely their division to lose. But I do really feel as though the Explorers will be hot on their trail. So look out for Columbus. Looking in the South, Diablos once again back on top. They're 5-3. Desperados just coming off a loss. They're 4-3. You can see it just had a one-game losing streak. There's a one-game win streak right there. So 1-1s all over the place. Tigers just got a win. Thunderbirds came off a close loss. Almost got a crazy comeback, but crazy to see the Thunderbirds dead last in the division right now, man. It's been some rough games. They haven't lost a single game this season more than 6 points. And honestly, I feel like it was due to the offensive struggles. They've been testing out some things, trying to get the offense going. We already understand the situation that's been going on for them for years when it comes to receivers. But this new offensive playbook has definitely made the change where they're starting to put up points and it's moving. So I think with that adjustment, now that they've found their groove offensively, the Thunderbirds should be in position to win most of their games moving forward because the schedule does get a bit lighter for them. The Tigers too. I mean, if I'm the Tigers, I mean they absolutely hate the Thunderbirds because the Thunderbirds always embarrass them every time they play. They embarrass them this season, right? I know Kai Cash hates this guy, hates those guys because I mean they usually always kill him when it comes to sacks and pressure. He just can't seem to catch a break when he plays the Thunderbirds. But he's in the driver's seat to try to put the Tigers to keep the Tigers in front of them. So as long as they keep trying to put together, good game plans and winning, they got a chance to do that. Desperados, though, are starting to fall from grace. Going into the East, Shamrocks leading 5-2, as we talked about. The Steamers getting a much-needed win. They look like they're back in the form. So if I'm the Shamrocks, I'm kind of scared right here. Kind of nervous. Because if the Steamers continue to look like they did last week, looks like they've got the right thing set. Oh, boy. Look out. All right? Because these guys got to play each other. They absolutely dominated the Monarchs, who, of course, a really good team as well, as they fall under 500 from that loss 3-4. But I mean, even the Monarchs still got a bit of a chance, right? Marshals don't. So yeah, 0-8 still looking for their first win. I do want to ask this out in the public. Do you guys think? I know this question has been asked on multiple podcasts outside of this, but do you think we're going to have a team go winless in the first full 17 game season? Do you think that the Cougars or the Marshals are going to go winless, or do you think that one or both of them at least, well, actually, yeah, both of them will at least get one win this season? I'm seeing a lot of guys saying yes. Yeah, they've been extremely close, man. I said we can look at even that because I got one more division to go into, but I just want to dive into the Cougars and the Marshals even after this game, just to show you how competitive they've been, but just have not end up in the win column. But yeah, 0-8, they're out of it. Steamers definitely pushing the Shamrocks, so Shamrocks better keep hot if they want to stay on top. And this is a very competitive division right here. They pretty much got all their division games out the way. Let's just go into the division games. They played most of their games within the first 5 weeks. Look at this. One more division game left for the Snowhawks. Same for Condors. Same for the Elks. The only guy who hasn't played many division games is the Crusaders. So, yeah. And the one game they did win, they beat the Snowhawks. So, I mean, these guys just continue to... I know, I've said this too. A lot of people assume, Snowhawks should win this division, right? But I don't think people understand how good the Condors with Chase McCoy is, you know what I'm saying? And the defense got way better than in years past. So, and it seemed like once they got Jacob Reed Jr. to go there, they just kept adding pieces, and the Condors, they were staying foot for foot with the Snowhawks. Same deal for the Crusaders, because the Crusaders, this is an offense. They got in my opinion, they got the best offensive line in the league. Best offensive line in the league. When you pair that with one of the best quarterbacks in the league, when you talk about overalls on paper and stuff like that, and just how he plays, the receivers he's got, the running back he's got with Marlon Marshall's developing, and the defense is pretty good too. That's been coming along. Crusaders is a very good team as well. And then, I did see and hear some slander on the Elks and their quarterback Eric Fisher, but I'm gonna be honest, Fish Boy ain't playing bad. Eric Fisher is actually, has had some pretty good games for the Elks and kept them in some games and won some good ones, So look out for, that. I'm not going to say they're going to be a playoff team. I definitely feel as though the Elks probably going to finish last, in my opinion, in this division. I feel like it's going to be Snowhawks, Condors, Crusaders, and Elks. That's how I think it ends. And even this right here, though, this Snowhawks swept the Condors, but at the end of the day, same record. They're both just hopped in the top 10 power rankings according to Neon Sports. And look at this, they both got the same division record. So I mean, this could go either way. Condors looking to stay right in stride with the Snowhawks. They're fighting for that division. So that's it right there. I want to jump into the players though, the teams real quick. Those two teams, the Cougars and the Marshals. Let's just look at this, man. This is a good thing to just point out. I mean, look how close these games have been. First game lost to the Hogs by 3, and literally had this game. They literally had this game. Ronnie Football kind of made his first, debut and impact play by bouncing off a sack that could have probably ended the game and throwing final minutes touchdown to win it 10-7, excuse me. Then they played up against the Sentinels, had them, but lost in overtime, 23-20. Then they played the Hogs again, had them, but the Hogs managed to score in the final minutes of the game, and the final score was 20-15. Played the Voyagers. The Voyagers, they gave them the business. They gave them the business here, got the win. This is probably the biggest margin that they lost by. Actually, the second, one of the bigger margins they lost by, 23-10 on the road in Houston. Then this was a game, most people I think were just expecting and kind of hoping they win if you're a Chicago fan. And again, just had them, but lost it at the end. 9-14 was the final score there. The Dreadnots were able to get pretty good job done there on the Cougars too, 21-10. And then the Pioneers, man, this is not a team to sleep on often or anymore. I mean, honestly, the last couple of seasons, this team has been very pesky, and they're just continuing to get better. They handled business against the Cougars at home in Pittsburgh, 28-10. So really, if you're looking at this, these are 3 games right here, 1, 2, 3, where I feel like they just got handled. But again, look at the point totals. They have not been able to score more than 20 points a game. This clearly shows that it's just the offense not getting the job done. The defense is. They haven't given up, other than the Pioneers almost scoring 30, they haven't given up more than 28 points a game. And if you really average this out, they're probably looking around maybe 23 points a game, 23 points a game. And yeah, Mix in the chat, he just pointed out those 4 missed field goals from 60 plus yards out. I mean, that's also a killer. I know guys like strong leg kickers, right? Strong leg kickers, they definitely are a plus, bro. But at the same time, it just sucks when they decide to try to kick it from like the 45-yard line. It's like, oh my God. They might have the leg that could have reached, but missing the kick is just highly probable to happen. So that's what really sucks. And as he mentioned, I mean, that was in the rain. So much more difficult to try to knock through the uprights. And could have won that game. What game was that, man? Was that the I know that wasn't the Pioneers game, was it? Let's see, it was the Dreadnots game. No, he was one for one on that one. No, it was Bisons. Not the Bisons. Was it Pioneers? Had to be the Pioneers, I think. Yeah, the Pioneers game. It's crazy. Even though, you add those up, man. That's that's 12 points on the board. I mean, still not winning in terms of that, but I mean that helps out. You know what I mean? And kills field position when you kick from that deep and miss. You know, definitely giving that to the Pioneers. 1 for 5. That was just a tough performance by Jerome Davis. Still one of the best kickers in the league, but rough performance right there. But yeah, and they're in a bye week this week. So it didn't go into this, but then lost, we talked about this earlier, lost by 2 points against a 5-3 Diablos team that is actually pretty good. This team actually is the highest rated team in the RFL right now at a 91 overall. So, man, this is tough. Are you looking at this, man? It's not like the Cougars are trash. It's literally just the offense, that one factor, and being real, just the pass game, man. McCall just has not been able to click. Other quarterbacks that came in too, it's only been one. He hasn't been able to click either. So it's tough, man. Sometimes it's just, I've talked about this before. Sometimes it's just not the Madden. Just not the Madden. That has happened a lot. And, it's tough for the Cougars more in particular because, when they had Geno Gannon, right, it wasn't the Madden. The first year they had him, it was the Madden for him, right? It was the Madden for that dual threat, improvising quarterback that was going to definitely elevate your offense. And bro went crazy, won Offensive Rookie of the Year, took home 4 awards. He did not win league MVP that season. It was Drake Royale who won league MVP, but he won conference MVP. Back when we don't have conference MVP anymore since we're all on one file. He did the Offensive Rookie of the Year, the Offensive Player of the Year, and I think he won quarterback. No, he didn't win Quarterback of the Year, but he had 4 total awards regardless. After that, his second season wasn't really too bad. It just was very different from his first. He did good passing the football, and we're talking about yards and touchdowns. He was just more of a pass guy that year. And yeah, it just was different. It just was different because they had archetype mainly be the main focus of the quarterback, where they're not doing what they're doing now in that one season, his rookie season, to be able to scramble, right? So not a bad year. He had 2 really good years, honestly. I mean, the first year was really good. The second one was good. The third one, though, which was the last season they had, was, awful. And, he still wasn't scrambling. Was making a lot of mistakes in terms of interception. That definitely was the worst Madden for him. And that's, that really was it right there. And you already know about the whole situation, with the departure and everything. And, just getting rid of Geno Gannon, putting in Jacob McCall, because, when you look at the decision in that situation, you're thinking, McCall for the Black Knights, he was balling. He was balling. He was a younger option. Nobody else could afford Geno Gannon but them and the Desperados at the time. So I just said, you know what? Let's go get McCall there. It's going to be a cheaper contract at the end of the day. You sign him long term. Geno Gannon gets somewhere where he gets to stay long term. They can afford him. Boom. Trade's done. Thing is, though, ends up not being the Madden again for McCall. And so and it's tough that it's for this same team, because it's been 3 seasons now that, the Madden, not blaming it on Madden either. I mean, of course, the situation of them losing, I mean, you got to deal with what you got to deal with. And, Rob knows that. Everybody knows that. I always tell coaches that, of course you get mad if it's against you because you want to see your team do good, but it's something that just everyone has to deal with. So we're not, we don't play the blame Madden game here. But, unfortunately, it's just what it was for the Cougars. But got the bye week this week. Come back. He's playing Roland. He's playing Roland in Austin. Let's see if I had to show you guys, showing you guys the rest of the schedule. I'm gonna just go through it real fast. Who do you think the Cougars have the greatest chance to win against to avoid a winless season? All right. So they got the Armadillos in week 10. They got the Huskies. This road games too. That's tough. They get another shot at the Pioneers at home this time, right? You got the Shamrocks, who's been hot so far, but home field advantage. Got the Bulls. That's going to be tough to pull off in Brooklyn. And then the Thunderbirds and Atlanta, tough. And Tampa Bay against the Tigers, tough. And it got a home field advantage against the Desperados and Marquise Washington. Rob knows all too well about Marquise Washington. That's a tough game to win. And then the Huskies again in the big rivalry. So if you're looking at this, what are you guys thinking? Glenn Sharp says Thunderbirds. Rodney says Elks, Huskies for Pat. I'm gonna be honest, man. Sometimes that just happens, bro. That'd be crazy they beat the Thunderbirds. It always seems to happen like that. The one team you don't expect them to beat, they do it, right? I don't really think that'll happen though, in my opinion. But if I had to choose, their best shot, and it's tough to say against Shamrocks too, man. Man, in my opinion, their best shot is against the Pioneers or the Desperados. Pioneers are the best Desperados. And the reason why I would throw the Desperados in there, even though Marquise Washington and everything started off hot, is you can see they started off hot, but they're tapering off right now. So I do believe that there's a shot there, especially with the home field advantage. And then with the Pioneers, Rob just talked about those field goals missed. With the home field advantage, who knows? Probably can win that. These other games, though, yeah, they're going to be extremely tough. Could go against Shamrocks. That's cool. But now let's go to the Marshals. Let's look at the Marshals. Right? Another team just like the Cougars. Lost the first game, division rival, by 3 points. Just like the Cougars in the first week. Right? 10-13. Second game, got absolutely obliterated by the Barons when it looked like they were going to be decent. But obviously for them, nope. 38-3. Mad embarrassment there. Second game came up against the Monarchs. Monarchs, just bested them by 10 points. DC 20-30. Just a good game, but this time the Monarchs came ready to play, and they just flat out beat them, right? This was the game where it was just like, man, expected you to, again, this is if you're looking at this Pioneers team, I'm gonna go to their schedule too real quick, just to point in, just to look at that. If you look at this Pioneers team, man, they've had some serious upsets, like some good games. I think the Pioneers are actually a really good team coming up. All right, so look out for them. But 23-13 was the final score there, lost by 10. Then they played the Shamrocks, right? Shamrocks, they lost by literally 3 points. It's crazy because they played them again. It is the same exact final score as it was the first time they played. So lost that game 21-24. Played the Steamers, had them, lost it 23-20. And I think that game went to overtime, did it? Let me see. No, it didn't go into overtime. It was 23-20 though. It was about to go into overtime, but game-winning field goal kick by the Steamers. Then the Armadillos, good showing. This is the first game for Coach Hodge, and he lost by 7 points there, 27-20. Kind of was coming back a little bit towards the end there, but Dillos, they did their thing there. And this is another game they lose by 3, where the Shamrocks, it looked like they had them but lost. And just like the Cougars, they have a bye week. And so here's the rest of their schedule. Tough. They got the Steamers, the Dreadnots, the Sentinels, Tigers, Condors, Crusaders, Voyagers, Snowhawks, and Elks. All right. So if you had to choose who they get their first win against, who would y'all say the Marshals get their dub against? They got shot against the Elks, in my opinion, last week. They got, let's say that's their best shot right there. Could be the Crusaders too. But yeah, these are tough, man. These are tough. Even the Sentinels. I'll say the Sentinels, man. The Sentinels starting to kind of go down now. Hopefully they can write things together, but they start losing, and that's a game they can get too. Elk says Pat, they can beat the Dreadnots, says Sharp. I think Sharp just try to say anything to get guys mad. But yeah, looking at that, I guess you guys just continue to go on in the chat who you guys think that the Marshals can get their first win against. And of course, Roland loves that the Dreadnots lose. And just to go to the Pioneers real fast, man. Look at how they've been playing this year, right? Close game against the Thunderbirds, 26-18. Took the loss. Got beat down by the Huskies in Toronto. It was like, okay. Then got beat down by the Diablos. This game really wasn't as close. It wasn't close anyway. You see, they lost by 22, but it was worse than that, where they had their little score towards the end. But yeah, Pioneers starting out 0-3, and we're just it's the Pioneers, right? Shocked us with the Marshals win that we talked about. Like, okay, but then they really shocked us when they gave the Frankie and the Dreads that L, 29-17. So I'm like, oh, okay, 2-game winning streak. We 2-3 now. Okay, played the Armadillos. Okay, you can look at the score right here, 52-27. Right, that's a beatdown on the board, but I mean, it still turned out to be a beatdown for sure. But in this game, it was knotted up. It was literally knotted up 27-27, and the Pioneers just fell apart towards the end. Armadillo separated. But even this game right here was close. And then they played the Cougars, handled business. A lot of missed field goals again by the Cougars. But, I mean, at the end of the day, Pioneers definitely did handle business in that game as well. And then they just beat the Hogs, right? They beat the Hogs pretty good, 24-6. And they've got a very important game against the Huskies, because if they can split with the Huskies, I mean, this sets them 2 games away from the Huskies. You know, the Cougars at this point, no competition. So you're really in competition with 3 teams right now in the North. And they got the home field advantage against the Huskies. So that is going to be a crazy game right there to watch. We got a lot of games coming up this week. It's about to be fire, man. That's all I'm going to say. Then they got the Sentinels. Yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I just wanted to show you the Pioneers on how they've shocked us. You know, this team has definitely shocked us this year. I'm not going to go too much further. Is there any other team, I guess, that's really shocked us this year that we want to kind of look into? Aviators, for sure. I mean, look at this. This is why Aviators is looking scary, man. I mean, beat Celtic Tigers. Like, oh, beat the Celtic Tigers. It's crazy. Okay, Kyle Bain getting his dub. You know, on his debut, but then 40-piece the Bulls. They hit him with that Rodney. That was crazy. Shutout too. Yeah, that was bad. And then what really kind of started to really kick things off to where it's like, okay, the Aviators might actually be something. Was this right here? I mean, 49, almost 50 points on the Red Dragons. Jeez, 49-31. It was like, okay, but this really solidified it. When they beat the Bulldogs by a point. I mean, I know it's a point. Bulldogs really had that game, but they gave the Bulldogs their first L, the reigning champs, their first L, and the comeback by Bain and everything on that was fire. So that's where, like, oh man, these guys are real deal. Played a little close game against the Crusaders, but at the end of the day, handled business. 14-6, came off a bye week, beat the Miners. Still a pretty solid team, you know, despite their struggles. 30-20, which really helped them out in the division. And then just took their first loss to the Snowhawks, who, you know, I think the Snowhawks are on track now, so this is going to be a tough team. But they were up on the Snowhawks 21-7, and, you know, just could not close the game out, could not create that separation. So the Aviators, that's where they're at. They play the Tigers this week. That's going to be a great game to watch. Man, very, very interesting season. Of course, we got to talk about the Armadillos, right? Crazy overtime game to open up the season. You know, 47-44. That was just wild. You know, but I will say, you know, the Sliders was kind of crazy right there. Hey, a win's a win. Not gonna take it away from rolling, right? But I don't know if that happens. So then we're looking and be like, okay, the Sliders got changed. We're gonna see if the Dillos are really like that. Now I did say on the podcast for whatever reason that I had the Shamrocks to win this, but clearly before the podcast, I actually had the Dillos to win this. So this is not a game really that shocks me in terms of them winning. It was a really good close game. They beat the Shamrocks 27-23. So I'm like, okay, you know, got the dub. It's all right. Then they took the L to the Dreadnots here. And this is where, you know, they've had their only L of the season. And, you know, it was in a row in San Antonio. It was a great game, 31-23. And I was just like, okay, I think this is where the Dillos, you know, start to get a bit of a reality check, right? Then they played the Huskies in Toronto. Huskies expected to win, and they just were able to edge the Huskies out. It says 20-16, but they kicked that last second field goal for the disrespect. I don't know if they just wanted to rub the dub in my face or something like that with the CPU team. I don't know. Diablos pulled out the rolling rage and kicked it through, but 1 point and turned into 4-point victory there, and they squeezed that out. It was like, okay, beat the Huskies, nice. And then this game, this is a similar pattern, which is why I'm saying, like, the Armadillos are definitely balling. Got to give them their credit. But this game right here looked like a blowout, but it was extremely close to the fourth. It was 14-7, and at the end, Voyagers just flat out unraveled. And the Armadillos did their thing, 31-7. And the Pioneers game put up the most points I think any team's put up this season with 52. But again, this was 27-27, unraveled Pioneers at the end. Then they played the Marshals, beat them 27-20, and then they dominated the Sentinels here. So the Diablos, they're the real deal. I'm gonna say, you know what I mean? And Roland knows, hey, I'm challenging Roland. Right? And the big thing as to why I'm, adding fuel to the fire with Roland is this, man. Can't erase what happened on the prior team, right? Can't take that away. At the end of the day, that was all you, bud. Doing a great job here now, though. And, he sent me a message, and, he talked about, his development and, maturity as a coach within the league, really learning more things. You can see that definitely having its effect on this team, right? You can see these games they've been able to pull out the win. You can see the different ideas that he's using that is helping this team get that edge to win week to week. And so I really feel like the Armadillos, they're going to be a playoff team this year, for sure. And that's the first time they've ever done it, so you got to give your credit to Roland, man. Shout out to Roland. Let's get hashtag Roland in the chat. But what does scare me, and he's making a push. He's in win now mode. He went out and got Isaiah Ingram. Out there traded for his old safety and Hayden Harold. It was a 90 overall. Even gave up a 25-year-old safety for that. And he also went and got blanking on the other pieces. But he's added pieces, and he's trying to win a championship right now. It's crazy how this guy came from having Jordy Johnson on a practice on a trade block to after his first game, like, nah, I'm gonna keep this guy, and even had Cam Horwood on the block. And I was like, yo, don't like, is this guy serious? Yeah, he got Dugan too, as you see him in the chat. Is this guy seriously gonna put these guys on the trade block? Good thing he didn't do it, because I'll tell you right now, he wouldn't be having the season you having right now if you ended up doing that. So thank God that didn't happen. They're eating. He's got the Dreadnots right now. So it really is, the Dreadnought, this division, he's got to fight to stay ahead. But you look at these games, he's in win now mode, but teams are playing it close. Teams are playing it close, man. And regardless of how it goes, Roland, it's been a great year for you. That's all I'm gonna say. But I like to keep Roland humble at times and be like, hey, man, you're doing good, but don't be shocked, man. You get to the playoffs and you end up like the Desperados a couple years back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because you're playing some good teams. Let's look at this best win, right? In my opinion, me personally, I don't think that the second time if you play the Steamers again, I doubt this happens. That's just my opinion. But Dreadnots is a good team, and they lost to them. Huskies, a good team, and they beat them, but it was close. I'm looking at teams, harder teams than what they've played so far. That's my concern about the Diablos. Do I think that the Diablos are going to, win a reload bowl this year? No, I don't. I think when you get to the playoffs, especially now all in one file, sheesh, that's going to be tough. That is going to be tough. But yeah, that's where I'm feeling right now with the Diablos. But you look at this schedule. I mean, they got the home field advantage. It was a close game. They could beat the Dreadnots. Of course, it's going bad for the Cougars this year. They could beat them. They definitely could beat the Monarchs too, I think. This is going to be a tough game for them. I do think that the Voyagers, with the home field advantage, and as close as the game really was the last time they played, this could be a tough game for them. I think they got the Sentinels number, to be honest, and they got the home field advantage next time, so that should be a dub. Playing the Aviators, this is a winnable game for them. But again, on the road, so it's going to be tough. Barons, I know he, back home playing his former team. They're not even starting Brinker anymore at this point. They're just, trying out the rookie, see what he's got in Dorian. And yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for the Barons. That is, that should be a win for the Armadillos. Black Knights is gonna be tough, and the Hogs, depending on how Ronnie Shanahan plays. Hopefully he bounces back. That's gonna be a tough game too. So I mean, he's got a couple challenges left, but again, is the schedule that tough? Not really. Not really. I think he has a few tough games in here, but it's going to be tough to squeeze out those wins to get to a Reload Bowl in the playoffs, in my opinion. But I've been diving into a couple teams. Just wanted to go ahead and dive into those teams in particular. Let's look at the games this week and what I'm predicting. So actually, I got Neon Sports here. So let's pull up Neon Sports. Boom. Oh, what happened here? Okay. So this is us just getting a look at what we got this week, right? So the games on how they go. The Monday night game for this week is actually going to start out, guys, with the Dreadnots and Armadillos. That's going to be fire. That's an opener, a crazy opener for the division right there. And if you go down, I'm scrolling down right now. This is the matchup right here. I have the Dreadnots favored to win by a field goal. So Frankie predicted for the sweep despite being on the road. We will see. It's going to be a tough game. I know it's going to be a great one. But the division's on the line. Both of these teams playing great. That's going to start us out on Monday, guys. Then Tuesday on a doubleheader, Red Dragons and the Bulls. I've got the Bulls, how they've been playing, beating the Red Dragons by 4 or more points as they got to get it done in Brooklyn at the home field advantage. So that's going to be another great game to watch. And the Tigers and Aviators at 9 p.m. Eastern. You can see right here. I have the Aviators bouncing back after their one loss and defeating the Tigers by a field goal. Definitely going to be a great game. These are some really good games. I'm not going to lie. Like, very competitive. This past week was extremely competitive too, man. I'm loving the sliders, like every bit of it. I got to make a video there for you guys. I'm going to try to get some time and some work done if possible tomorrow. I really want to try to get, stuff like that out. I even got an idea of just making a video really to Madden to let them know, like, simple things that just really need to be fixed, like the time that we saw, in the Thunderbirds game and other games. Glitch defensive plays that just giving up free touchdowns. No reason that shouldn't be in the game. Guys just not catching the football or reacting to it. I'm definitely going to put an in-depth video out soon on stuff like that. For one, it'll get some new guys to check out the league, and then also, hopefully EA, stumbles across it and watches it, because I'm going to also look to post that on our social media accounts as well. But yeah, the Tigers, Aviators expect to win that game. At Wednesday, our premier game, we got the Elks and the Gunners. So if we're looking around, okay, Elks right here. I have the Elks beating the Gunners with Tyon in his debut by 3 points. So yeah, nothing really too much to say there. Then at 4, I done skipped the whole game. That's a 6 p.m. game that I just went over. A 4 p.m. game that's actually going to start out the first premieres is the Shamrocks and the Sentinels. So the Shamrocks, I have them. I actually have the Sentinels predicted to beat the Shamrocks as hot as they've been by 4 more points. So there you go, Tor. I got some faith in you. I think you bounce back. And then we got Baker and the Voyagers taking on the Hogs. And that game's right here. I've got the Voyagers improving to 5-3 on the season, beating the Hogs, giving them their 3rd consecutive loss. Voyagers have been hot lately. We've seen how, Shanahan has struggled, and, I'm still keeping him in the fold of things. So, just for that development and everything. And hopefully he bounces back. But if he cannot shake back, especially against the Voyagers, it's going to be a tough game, really ugly game. I think it could be for him. We already talked about the Elks and Gunners game. That'll be at 6 o'clock. Condors and Lumberjacks. This is going to be a great game, man. This is going to be a great. Where is that? There you go. Great game. Condors and Lumberjacks. I got the Lumberjacks though, man. I think the Lumberjacks and Jordan Granger get it done. I think they defeat San Jose at home in Louisville by a field goal or more. So that's my predictions right there for that. And the 8 p.m. game, this will be for Wednesday to close us out. It will only be one, the Explorers versus Barons, an old rivalry game in the North. But man, the way the Barons been looking, and of course Brinker not starting, the rookie coming in, having a rough go of things against the Bulldogs, I don't think it'll be any different against the Explorers. So this is the biggest spread I have this week. The Explorers, I got them winning by, well, this is the second biggest actually. I got them winning by 14 points. So 2 scores on the road in New York. Then we get into Thursday, premier game, Huskies versus Pioneers. This is going to be another great game, man. Great matchup. Huskies did them dirty last time, but with the way things have gone so far, they flipped, around. They've had some upsets. The Pioneers got the home field advantage that I talked about. It's going to be tough, but I don't feel the Huskies lose 4 straight. So I'm going with the Huskies to win by 5 or more points. I just feel like this offense is too explosive to be doing what they've been doing lately, and I think they get it done. So that's it there for the Huskies. The Bulldogs and the Bisons right here. This is the biggest spread I got this week. I got the Bulldogs winning by more than 14 points, so more than 2 touchdowns, and that's with being on the road in OKC, and rightfully so. I mean, the way they beat down the Barons, right? And Barons are slightly better than the Bisons, so at least record-wise. So I think it's going to be another beatdown, an easy win there for the Bulldogs. Then the Monarchs and Crusaders, got them right here. I've got the Crusaders getting the victory at home in Los Angeles with Holden Wolf getting his first win as the backup guy to start by 4 more points. Then the Diablos and Desperados. Last time this was a butt whooping for Marquise Washington in the Desperados. They lost by, I think, 20 points. I think it was 33-13. And I think that the Diablos get it done again by more than a touchdown. So I'm going with Forbes in that one. And then the Celtic Tigers versus Black Knights. I think CT edges out Geno Gannon and the Knights, man. I just have a feeling it's going to be a great game. I just feel like it's definitely going to be a great game. But I'm just side with CT despite being on the road. I think if there's any chance to try to catch the Black Knights right now is coming off a loss. It's a division game. I think Justin Jones dials in on this game, especially against this defense, man. Their secondary, is it good enough to cover Matt Niani and the weapons, Cam Rux and Leitner, and Jones, the way he's throwing the ball, Chandler back. There's so many options that it's going to be tough for the Black Knights to keep up with that. Geno Gannon will have to be tit for tat with them, which, CT's defense may be old, but, not too easy all the time to score on. And then the last game, which is the game of the week, you can see it right here where it says game of the week. Snowhawks versus Steamers, man. This is going to be a fire game, man. Very fire game. Has to be game of the week. And I am going with the Steamers, man. The way they looked, Snowhawks have looked really good too, right? But I'm going to side with the Steamers. They got the home field advantage. I got them winning by a field goal or more. So that is it for week 9. The predictions right there. And now the moment you guys really have all been waiting for. I know it's been over 2 hours right now, but again, we've missed 2 weeks of podcasts. So I just really wanted to dive in as much as possible with this for you guys. Let's go ahead and put this away for Neon Sports. Again, if you want to get on Neon Sports and keep up with the league, look at all the statistics, look at all the players, everything you need, details, standings, everything is there on Neon Sports, man. So go ahead and make sure to check that out. Just type in, it says it kind of here at the top of the Neon Sports thing I have up. Just go to neonsports.com/leagues/RFL16/ well, really, if you put RFL 16, I think that'll take you there. And if that doesn't work, I think you just put the slash and nothing next to it, and that should take you to the RFL Neon Sports. Neon has definitely been fire for us. Yeah, And so you already went over top 10 there. Dillo's on top. And now we will go into I'll go well, I had it here, but it's just too small. So this is why I'm doing full screen. Going into full screen, guys, because guess what's here? You guys ready? The last thing to end on. And it is the yearly awards, guys. Mind you, I have not looked at this myself. So I do not know what any of this looks like. All I know is I saw yearly awards right here in this section. And I was like, oh yeah, they got it up. We're getting into that. All right. So here's the yearly awards. I think they might show MVPs first. Which I would like to save for last, but yeah, let's just jump into it. Yearly awards. Yeah, they show MVP. Way to spoil it. But Geno Gannon, as expected, is the leader for MVP. Kind of shocked here, though. I think the interceptions is what's killing Chumlee. They got him ranked 5th. Devin Wade has only thrown 1 interception to 16 touchdowns, so it makes sense there. Justin Jones has been putting up some crazy numbers as well. And look at this, who's also in the conversation. Jordan Granger, top 5 at 4. Wow. Jabri Jackson is crazy. Like I said, I knew he would be in the conversation, but of course can't be no more as he's going to take a seat. But 17 touchdowns to 2 interception ratio. He definitely would have been in the running for that. Tom Wilson there at 7. Anthony Savoy, you got Kyle Bain, and Owen Jack even in there at MVP at top 10. So, yeah, this Geno Gannon doesn't shock me here. But, yeah, did not expect Lee to be, I thought he would probably be like 3, maybe 2. But they got Granger over him. They got Jones and Wade. Am I shocked, to be honest, though? No, I am not shocked. The touchdown interception ratio for Wade, I already talked about that. The statistics for Jones, too, has been great. And I think the touchdown interception ratio is better as well. Same deal for Jordan Granger. So, makes sense. All right. So, that's that. And, I mean, Coach of the Year, we usually don't do this. I mean, usually forget about it. But, you know, can't be CPU. But if there was a Coach of the Year, they'd say the Bulls have it. But look at that. Coach Woods. Coach Woods right now looked at as Coach of the Year in terms of users. Is there any other users on here? Frankie at 8. Oh man, my CPU team's out here outdoing y'all. So but we got 2 user coaches. 2 user coaches on, and they both come out of the ARC South. So it's pretty cool. All right. So now let's look at the ARC. And I think it's going to be the Offensive Player of the Year that they got. So let's look at our ARC Offensive Player of the Year. Okay. Jordy Johnson. He almost got 1,000 yards, as I talked about. So Offensive Player of the Year, he leads that. Matt Wheaton's right behind him. Geno Gannon is at 3. Kind of shocked with Geno Gannon being here. I guess, of course, his touchdowns would outweigh Johnson and Wheaton. And so this is definitely weighted differently. Yeah, so Wade here at 4, Jones 5, Levi Dixon. Like I said, they got him. Again, his impact is through the air. His impact has definitely been through the air. You know, can't just look at the rushing stats with him and the way that he's used in this offense. And you can see, you know, that he is definitely an impact player to be ranked 6 for, as a nominee for Offensive Player of the Year. Excuse me, Savoy at 7. Got Matt Niani in the fold for CT. Keith Guyton at 9. And Kingston Kinney at the bottom here at 10. They can get him some more carries and opportunities. I think, you know, he'll start to shoot up as well. Now let's look at Defensive Player of the Year in ARC. Who's got it right now? Nolan Angelo for the Dreadnots. Kind of wasn't expecting that name, but Dreadnots got a guy right now leading in that category. Carson Stevens, I think he's tied for leading the league in sacks with 2 other players. You got Stanley McQueese in there. So a lot of Dreadnots right now here for Defensive Player of the Year. David Leathers, the rookie for the Armadillos. This guy, Jesse Newhouser, has been a monster for the Pioneers, man. So, yeah, Newhouser's in there. Killian Bain, there he is, top 5. Just outside the top 5 as a nominee for Defensive Player of the Year for the Miners. You got Brent Harrison there at 6, Bobby Boucher 7, Carson Fine 9, and Shane Masters at 10. All right, now let's get a look at Rookies of the Year. All right. Oh, you say he's not a rookie? David Leathers? I'm not blinking. He did play a season. Yeah, I'm blinking on that. So why is he in this? Oh yeah, he's not in this. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. I was talking about him like a rookie too last year. So well, he's in the rookie because look, I could have swore I seen him as a rookie. Let me see. Not coming up here. We'll see when we get to the defensive rookie awards because he should be in there, if that's the case. But Ajon Grant. Oh wow, yeah, that's shocking. Ajon Grant, offensive rookie of the year right now for the ARC. Then we got Ronnie Shanahan. I think what really killed him, man, is those interceptions, that 4 interception game. If he could get it together, man, and get more touchdowns on the board and stop throwing those picks, he definitely could be a front runner to win this easy, in my opinion. He's at the quarterback position. I think the only ARC quarterback that's a rookie playing. So, I mean, he's definitely got a shot to win this. So Ajon Grant, he keeps balling, and Shanahan just keeps, having turnover issues. Grant might just run away with this thing, man. You got Kentaro Sheffield in the mix at 3. Michael Simmons at 4 for the Dreadnots. Eddie Champ in there. Steve Washington at 6. Sean Acosta, 7. Glenn Holcomb at 8. Morris Blaylock for the Cougars at 9. And Lane Carnegie at 10. All right, now let's get a look at defensive rookies of the year. And yeah, I do not see David Leather, so I don't know why I was thinking of him as a rookie, man. But Quincy Jenkins is over Miles Brock. I know Frankie was like, oh man, Miles Brock about to win this thing, but I forgot about Quincy Jenkins being a rookie. He's from out of Alabama. He's an outside linebacker, and I think he's got more sacks than Brock, to be honest, if not the same amount. And he is a impact playmaker for the Black Knights, especially this season. So it's a battle between these guys, man. It's gonna be tough to try to win one over a defensive end, man, who's pretty good, or edge rusher who's pretty good getting back there and getting the sacks. But Miles Brock definitely in the fold of things. And Angelo Michaels, I just talked about his crazy upgrade. He got the same upgrade Miles Brock got, where he got 4 upgrade points, and he jumped from a 73 overall to a 79, and is about to upgrade again to be an 80. So we got 2 stud defensive tackles in the making in this league, man, which is crazy. I did not expect either one of them, but definitely did not expect Angelo Michaels to turn out to be how he ended up being so far. But he also got a great opportunity due to injury from Roland Kaiser, who was starting, and now he's jumped to second. Now he's actually the official starter, so he became that guy after that. Austin Sanders in there at 4. Louis Quintana at 5, right there for CT. J.J. Harris at 6. Zion Waddle 7. Colo Ransom 8. Brian Brown 9. And Seth Brewer at 10. All right, let's go ahead and get a look at best quarterback so far. Devin Wade. You guys laughed at him. He's leading for best quarterback. Boy, hey, man, I said at some point he was going to click. And look at that. He's leading right now over Geno Gannon. Geno Gannon's definitely got the offensive player and MVP over him right now because in terms of dual threat, Geno Gannon's a better dual threat than him, more rushing touchdowns. But the touchdown interception ratio, I think, is just what's most important when it comes to this award for quarterbacks. And he's got the best touchdown interception ratio. Kyle Bain at 3, got Justin Jones 4, Chumlee 5 again here. Again, the interceptions, I think, is really what's getting Lee. Owen Jack at 6, Savoy 7, Timmy Merritt 8, Calvin Poole 9, and DWJ at 10. All right, best running back, Matt Wheaton right now, leading over in the ARC over Levi Dixon. That's crazy. Best running back in his. This is wild. Levi Dixon is literally at 2 with under a 2.5 yard per carry average. That's crazy. I guess, with running backs, they're incorporating everything. So, I mean, Levi Dixon is in the fold right here. He even got him over Kingston Kenny. That's crazy right there to me. Got to look at Levi Dixon's receiving touchdowns. He must got a lot of receiving touchdowns to be placed over Kenny, though. That's crazy. And Dre Shivers, that's wild. Dre Shivers at 4. Trey Worsley, still top 5 running back, man, in terms of awards. He's starting to get it together. David Jones at 6. Corey Leonard at 7. Andre Tomlinson at 8. Damani Manuel, he's been out due to some injury. Probably would be higher on this list had it not been the case, but he's at 9. And Langford Cloud of the Black Knights there at 10. Best receiver in the ARC, obviously the guy who's leading the league in receiving yards and could break the record, and Jordy Johnson. Keith Guyton is right there underneath him, having that record last season at number 2. Matt Nayani at number 3. And look, 2 back-to-back Celtic Tiger receivers showing you Jones working with these guys on the outside. Ross Deerdorf at 4. Freddie Irv, man, the rookie out of Washington. He's been balling. He's got some good touchdowns. I think he's got over 6 touchdowns in this game, man. In this season, I mean. But yeah, he's at 5 for the Black Knights. Dariantre Machiavelli for the Bulls is at 6. Cam Ruck 7. That's 3. All 3 starting receivers in the top 10 and nominees for receiver for CT. That's crazy. Obey Kidd at 8. Phil Raines at 9. And Jake Winkleman at 10. All right, they don't have a best tight end for whatever reason in Madden, bro, which does not make any sense. They do have it in NCAA, but why is that not in this? Best offensive lineman. And I think this one does not go off of overall like it used to go in the past. So this actually goes off of a lot of other factors that's realistic. So Damian Hickman, excuse me, for the Bulldogs, look at leading that category. Another Bulldog. This guy shouldn't even be on the team. He's got to get cut. I didn't see him on the roster though. He must have just signed him or something. But yeah, he's got to get up out of here. Fredo Vasquez, he's got he's on the he's at number 3. That's the rookie. Where did he go again? Blanking on Fredo. But yeah, Gordon K at 4. Got Blake Penn, Black Knights at 5. Corbin Vance 6. Scott Back at for the Aviators at I think that's supposed to be Bach, if I'm not mistaken. But he's at 7. At 8, Mitchell McIntyre, the Huskies. 9, Turner Claxton for the Bulls. And at 10, another Bulls lineman in Alan Trotter. All right, now time to get on the defensive side of the ball for the ARC for leaders. And your defensive lineman of the year right now in the ARC is Carson Stevenson. Like I said, tied for the most sacks in the RFL right now with, I think, like 12.5. And at number 2, you got Dreadnought Stanley McQueeston. You got Brett Harrison, another Hog. These defensive ends causing havoc for the Hogs at 3. Isaiah Ingram at 4 for the Armadillos. Of course, doing some good work already with the Thunderbirds, but taking that over there to Austin. Max Moore for the Black Knights at 5. Drew Brewer at 6. He's won Defensive Lineman of the Year, I think, 2 years back to back. So still trying to fight for that position. Miles Brocken here at top 10 at 7 for the Dreadnoughts as a rookie. Willie Nelly at 8 for Red Dragons. Salem Gant, old vet, man. This guy's under 80, but he's at 9. And Cameron Horwood at 10 for the Diablos. Best linebacker, we have Nolan Angelo, and rightfully so. I mean, this guy's already leading defensive player of the year already, and there he is leading as best linebacker right now. Jesse Newhouser right behind him, so it's definitely going to be good comp between these two, but Newhouser's been a beast with edge rushing. Same with Killian Bain coming in at 3 for the Miners. Kason Fine at 4 for the Hogs. Bobby Boucher at 5 for Red Dragons. David Leathers at 6 for the Dillos. Kean Dever. These 2 linebackers, man, off the edge is something serious. But Kean Dever for the Hogs at 7. Quincy Jenkins, the rookie outside linebacker, the edge rusher. He's at 8. At 9, Shane Masters for the Bulldogs. And 10, Gabe Stringer still hanging in there. Okay, best defensive back, Keani Jones of the Cougars. He's got that. As he's on top. Tilo Austin coming in at number 2 for the Celtic Tigers. Voyagers, Adam Okoye coming in at 3. Jason Alexander for the Huskies at 4. Armin Rudolph for the Aviators at 5. Clausen Ramsey at 6 for the Pioneers. Frank Velton at 7 for the Aviators. Anthony Washington, AW, for the Hogs at 8. We got Last Chance at 9 for the Miners. And Carlton Baines, who's had some clutch interceptions, at 10 for the Dillos. Best kicker, got the Dillos, Kerry McCoy. So, and then right behind them, Kyle and Jai. I'm not going to go through these guys, man. I mean, these are kickers, but the best kickers in the game overall wise, you got Tyrus Wiley right here. We don't have the Cougars here, which, again, just says a lot about how tough it's been for them to be able to, finish drives out with some points. But that is it for the positions for the ARC. And finally, we'll do the NRC in terms of awards. Here we go. Offensive Player of the Year right now is looking like DeAndre Can. So again, Tyon, get this guy the rock. Right? And this is crazy. Offensive Player of the Year, the NRC, Jordan Granger at number 2. Wow. Jordan Granger, man, he's on to something. At number 2, Offensive Player of the Year, Jordan Granger. And this guy's about to get a crazy XP boost. He keeps this up. Roland Woods at number 3. At number 4, we got CJ Robinson. 5, Roy Kincaid, Elks. The Snowhawks, you got Jacob McDonald. Tom Wilson at 7 for the Shamrocks. Romeo Jackson at 8 for the Steamers. Madison Axel 9 for Diablos. And at 10, Jabri Jackson. Unfortunately, again, he'll be probably out of this after getting benched. Defensive Player of the Year's got Kevin Kudon of the Condors. Definitely a player to look out for. He's on the come up. Young guy at the defensive end position. And he's at number 1. Drake Dawkins at number 2 for the Diablos. Taylor Mays at 3. Marvin Woolfolk still in the top 5, killing things at 4. At 5, we got Timothy Statton. It's definitely a bounce back year for him, man. Couple of seasons for him just have not hit. Cole Bacon at 6. O'Head still doing his thing. Tyrone Johnson, 7. Zachary Dombrowski in the top 10 at 8. Nashawn Richardson at 9. And at 10, Keegan Meyer Jr., Defensive Player of the Year. Now let's get a look at Offensive Rookie of the Year. It only makes sense if it's Jordan Granger, right? And there he is at number 1. This guy's already about to possibly win Offensive Player of the Year. But, yeah, he's leading that category, and I don't think it's going to be close in terms of, bar any injury happening. You got Tevin Corbett. So Corbett is out here at number 2. You got Heath Duval. That was the other tight end I was talking about as a backup to Zach Hobbs. Duval at number 3. Chris Clark at 4 for the Condors. At 5, we got TJ Holcomb for the Steamers. 6, tight end Jaden Bush from Georgia on the Desperados. Kayshawn Taylor at 7 for the Thunderbirds. Sidney Jenkins for the Barons at 8. At 9, we got Dorian Chavis, and he'll start to probably rise since he's starting for the Barons the rest of the way through. And then Isaiah Allen, the rookie from Miami, on the Shamrocks at 10. Defensive Rookie of the Year, though, right now is Elijah Walker coming out of Miami at the defensive end position, man. Absolute stud. And then you got Brock Frederick, who was a first-round draft pick. That's who I was getting confused with David Leathers for some reason. Both of those guys are very similar players, man. And, yeah, both of them played at Ohio State, too. So, yeah, Brock Frederick coming in at number 2. Javier Wheatley, another Ohio State guy, coming in at number 3. And then we got Jay Hayden, the cornerback from Miami, for the Condors. Garrett Evans at 5 for the Lumberjacks. At 6, you got Derek Hatcher from Michigan, rookie. Xavier Spriggs at 7 for Snowhawks. At 8, we got Ryan Ward. He's been out due to some injury, and he's been injured twice. But he's at 8. At 9, Cam Johnson for the Tigers. And 10, Keenan Richards. Best quarterback. Wow, look at this. Jordan Granger. Jordan Granger is leading for best quarterback in the conference. That's incredible. Jabri Jackson at 2, and again, he'll start to fall. Tom Wilson. So it's really Tom Wilson against Jordan Granger who might win this award. But Wilson's at 3, but at 4, you got to look out for Reed Wagner. I think they're finally in the right offense where this guy's going to start cooking. So the MVP from last season might end up jumping, getting right back on top of things. Granger's got to keep it pushing, stay on top. Marquise Washington, who he wasn't even top 10 in MVP, he has fell off pretty steep his last couple of games. But he's at 5 for best quarterback. Lane Kearney at 6 for the Diablos. Kai Cash at 7 for Tigers. Chase McCoy at 8 for the Condors. Joseph Gilly at 9 for the Snowhawks. And Eric Fisher in the top 10 for best quarterback for the Elks. Best running back, Jacob McDonald here for the Snowhawks. leading over at number 2, Madison Axel, the Diablos. Marcus Knight coming in at 3 for the Thunderbirds, man. He has definitely been an impactful player, not only on the ground, but through the air as well. Looks like they're incorporating that in the running back award. Kenny Steele at 4 for the Barons. At 5, we got Drake Sandstrom. 6, Tavion Hall. 7, Donovan Rhodes. Amir Williams at 8. Saeed Gore at 9. And Bradley Atagwe at 10. All right, best receiver, obviously, DeAndre Ken, if he's leading the conference in Offensive Player of the Year right now. Then we got Roland Woods at 2 for the Shamrocks. At 3, we've got Roy Kincaid of the Elks. CJ Robinson at 4 for the Explorers. At 5, we've got Romeo Jackson, the Steamers. Amari Manuel at 6 for the Barons. Stanley Kempford at 7 for the Tigers. Sean Acosta at 8 for the Marshals. Q-Pop even was in here. Of course, injuries really sidelined and hurt him. But he's at 9 for the Barons. And at 10, you got Cecil Austin III for the Desperados. Moving on to the last offensive award, best offensive lineman. They're going to say it's Case Kern right now for the Snowhawks. And I'll just leave it at that, as Isaac McCollum has won that award before. He's at number 2 there. Yeah, they're not going to go through the lineman. Best defensive lineman, Kevin Kudon, is tied for the most sacks in the league. So he's up there. Drake Dawkins coming in at 2 for the Diablos. For the Gunners at number 3, it's Timothy Staton. Cole Bacon at 4 for the Crusaders. At 5, it's Tyrone Johnson from the Elks. Keegan Meyer Jr. for the Shamrocks at 6. Deshaun Richardson at 7 from the Steamers. Jared Smith at 8 for the Steamers. Isaiah Mosley at 9 for the Tigers. And at 10, the rookie in the top 10 here for best D lineman, Elijah Walker. Best linebacker for the NRC, Marvin Woolfolk, still killing it, man. This guy is leading in that category at number 1. At number 2, another veteran, and Zachary Dombrowski. At 3, we got Taylor Mays of the Steamers. Really good there. And how about Khalil? Khalil coming in here top 5 for best linebacker at number 4 for the Snowhawks. We got Jaron Gray for the Thunderbirds at 5. Jacob Reed Jr. at 6 for the Condors. Morris Wright at 7 for the Marshals. Keelan Hubbard at 8 for the Lumberjacks. Nolan Carroll at 9 for the Barons. And Christian Barclay at 10 for the Condors. Last 2 awards here for DB and kicker. Lito Loso might take home Best Defensive Back of the Year in the NRC award, as he leads right now over Sheldon Reinhardt at number 2 for the Diablos. Caden Blair's in the mix at 3 for the Steamers. Damari Sparks at 4 for the Barons. Cameron Russell at 5 for the Condors. Cole McAnally, one of the top safeties in the league, might be the best overall safety. Oh, no, he's not the best overall safety in the league. He might be. Actually, got to check that. But, yeah, he's at 6 for the Lumberjacks. Maurice Risen in there at best defensive back, man. Second year, he's doing his thing for Shamrocks at number 7. At number 8, got Richard Grooms from West Virginia, star first-round draft pick they got at 8. And at number 9, Roosevelt Mixon for the Gunners. And at 10, Cito Torres. And the final award to go through is Best Kicker. And right now, Rylan Cody, the rookie for the Shamrocks, is leading in that category. Not going to go down the rest of these in terms of making the announcement. You guys can see as I go through them here. And that is it, guys, for the awards, for the rankings, for all that stuff. I think I've hit on literally everything. This podcast literally is 2.5 hours long, but I had to get you guys some good content. Trying to put something here. Let's put background image, I guess. But I had to get you guys some good content to make up for the past 2 weeks and break things down. Again, I got to start doing a little bit better in terms of breaking down the games that happened last week. I do like that I went into detail on a lot of things that I don't think people have paid attention to, but I'm gonna try to stay wary of that and probably just skim through final scores from the past week, just either you watched it or you didn't type deal. But I do like to give guys their flowers, so that's what kind of gets me back and forth on that. But with that being said, man, usually I would do open questions with bro. 2.5 hours, diving up and chatting it up, man. chatty patty by myself. So I'm going to go ahead and close it out here, man. But I appreciate you guys tuning in with me tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, Monday, week 9 starts, and it's a game you don't want to miss. The Armadillos and the Dreadnots competing for the ARC South. Make sure you guys are there. Who you got? Your team Frankie or your team Roland? Make sure to pop out for that game for those two guys. And of course for the league. Hashtag league first for you guys roll out of here. Appreciate you guys tuning in with me. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.